on November 18th and 19th. Are you a Glock enthusiast? Or maybe you're just curious about what makes Glock the gold standard in firearms? Well, mark your calendars, because on November 18th, Gat Guns has the Glock rep right there in store, ready to answer all your burning questions. Gat Guns is loaded up with hundreds of Glock pistols and even more Glock accessories. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a first-time buyer, they've got something special just for you. Don't miss this Gat Guns exclusive sales event, where you will find unbelievable deals and discounts on most of the Glock lineup. While you're there, enter to win a new Glock pistol. So, gear up, lock in, and join Gat Guns for Glock Days on November 18th and 19th, Saturday and Sunday at Gat Guns in East Dundee, Illinois. This event is not to be missed. For more information and directions, visit gatguns.com. That's gatguns.com.
Well, it's kind of fun. We did have an earthquake about 29 minutes ago near Granville, Illinois. And that is just south of Peru, LaSalle, out there by Starved Rock. And that is where the 3.6 magnitude earthquake took place, about 4 kilometers below the surface. And we've had quite a few earthquakes in this area in the last few years. 13 years ago in Wasco, 19 years ago, a 4.2 magnitude quake in Ottawa, and 24 years ago, another 3.6 magnitude quake near Amboy. So this morning's earthquake, about 31 minutes ago, centered on Granville. Again, that's just south of LaSalle and Peru. No word on any damage or anything like that right now. Just about a 3.6 magnitude shaker. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. No earthquakes in your way. Only one problem. Darien, Lamont area accident. Cass and Bluff Road tying up that intersection. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Sunny skies, a nice warm day today. Beautiful day to be outdoors. High 64. Clear tonight, low 45. Clouds and warm. Breezy day tomorrow. The high at 65. Morning shower in spots on Friday. Otherwise, clouds and sun. High 48. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
46 officially at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
Bettenhausen Mobility is the fastest growing authorized Braun Ability dealer serving the Chicagoland area. Bettenhausen offers a complete lineup of wheelchair accessible vehicles with the options to fit all your mobility needs. As a Braun Ability dealer, Bettenhausen Mobility can provide sales and service to all accessible vehicles and mobility solutions on several makes and models. Whether you need side entry with manual or power operation or different ramp options, Bettenhausen Mobility has a solution for you. Showroom open at BettenhausenMobility.com.
Have you been searching for a Napa Valley quality winery experience closer to home? A hidden gem awaits you at Bishop's Hill Winery in Joliet. Come experience fine wine, history, and castles. Stay to enjoy the Bishop's Hill tasting room to round out a perfect day. The Bishop's Hill Castle is easily accessible in nearby Joliet. This facility was home to a former brewery in the 1860s and is located on a hill with a commanding view where you'll enjoy sampling some of the highest rated wines in the world. Bishop's Hill wines are made from California grapes and sustainably grown. These wines have received Best in Class, Gold, and Double Gold awards at the San Francisco Chronicle North American Wine Competition. Now is your opportunity to stock up for the holidays and purchase national award-winning wine from Joliet-based Bishop's Hill Winery. If you want the Napa experience without the cost, look no further. Group discounts are available, and the Bishop's Hill Castle is also ready to host your next event for your family or business. Visit online at bishopshill.com. That's bishopshill.com.
Would you go to court without a lawyer when the other guy is lawyered up? Or are you going to go it alone and learn law and procedure as you go? When you have an insurance claim for your home or business, it's the same thing.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company.
Insurance companies will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them. Not you.
If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%, and we could do the same for you. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Homeowners, are you feeling the weight of credit card debt and high mortgage insurance payments? There's great news for you. Home values have increased, and it's time to leverage that to your advantage. Welcome to the Home Value Refinance Solution from Townstone Financial. Your home's increasing value presents an incredible opportunity. With Townstone's Home Value Refinancing Solution, you can use this newfound equity to consolidate high-interest credit card debt and say goodbye to burdensome mortgage insurance payments. Imagine freeing yourself from financial stress. Townstone's experienced team will help you navigate the refinancing process, unlocking the potential in your increased home value. Seize this opportunity. Use the extra equity to reinvest in your home, take that long-awaited vacation, or simply build your savings for the future. Don't let this chance slip away. Call Townstone today at 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com to explore how your increased home value can transform your financial future. Townstone Financial is an Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois mortgage licensee 6629 MLS 136639, Equal Housing Lender.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century with IoT Smart Connected Scanning. It's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, Sundays, noon to 1. Learn more online at mwmfinancial.tax.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So where are the calls? Where are the calls to oust Mike Johnson as House Speaker? I mean, I don't want to spike the football here, but I'm going to, I guess, a little bit in terms of the little caper that Matt Gaetz initiated against Kevin McCarthy. And it's not, it's not some sort of dying on the hill for Kevin McCarthy. But it is a recognition of what that episode was about. Because what happened yesterday? The House passed a two-step CR that is indistinguishable from what McCarthy did with the help of Democrats, which is indistinguishable from McCarthy did, right, with the opposition of the Freedom Caucus, which is indistinguishable from the dynamics under McCarthy. And I'm not hearing Matt Gaetz or any of those who initiated the deposing of McCarthy saying anything about it. At least not saying that Mike Johnson should be removed as Speaker. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The House Freedom Caucus opposed the CRs for lack of spending reductions and money for the border. Sound familiar? As the Wall Street Journal opined, Johnson's bill varies little in substance from the one that cost McCarthy his job. Extends some funding to January 19th, some to February 2. Eliminates the Senate's ability to jam through another year-end omnibus, which is how they declared victory with this modest proposal. And gives House GOP negotiators more time to leverage gains in the appropriations conferences. So, as we discussed when that occurred, several weeks back now. You have to recognize what the limitations are. And the opportunity was to challenge, from a unified place, challenge the American people. If you're serious, you have to send more and better, more conservatives and better representatives in the Senate in particular. But obviously there's some House Republicans that are big spenders too.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could also reach us on our text line, 64636, but you have to type in DA first, then a quick comment.
So, I mean, the point here is not to concede principles, but to concede political realities. Figure out how best to advance your flag on the landscape upon which you're compelled to operate.
Is Gates going to try to get out Mr. Johnson as Speaker of the House now because of yesterday?
Well, obviously not. He's not said anything.
I know. Well,
that's the point.
He's a squirrely little fella.
The change reflect. By the way, what are we talking about too? I know on the cooling off. We'll talk to Uri about this a little bit later in the show. But I know on the cooling off of inflation, there was a great run up in the market yesterday, which allows everyone to hurry past the Moody's degrading of the federal of the U.S. Economic outlook from stable to negative. The change reflected Moody's belief that downside risks to the nation's fiscal strength have increased and may no longer be fully offset by the sovereign's unique credit strengths. That's a fancy way of saying they're looking at interest payments on the national debt that will consume a quarter of federal tax revenue in the next decade, which is up from just 9% last year. So you're going to see our interest payments on the debt, barring corrective action, nearly triple in the next 10 years. So Moody's downgraded. There was a slight reaction, but inflation cooled, so everything's right with the world again, at least according to the markets. And big spending politicians inside the Beltway. This is an important lesson because there's some other challenges for conservatives when it comes to operating on the landscape as it actually exists and figuring out how to do more than just wave your flag, like advance it. And it's what we talked about after last week, Tuesday's election results, which is the conversation about messaging life, messaging on abortion. And the distinctions that need to be made between what is philosophically and, in that case, spiritually righteous, and what you can accomplish and where you can accomplish it. And can you have peaceful coexistence between the stated principle and the policies that flow from the principle, what we're trying to achieve? The objective is not lost. We haven't lost focus on the objective, but we understand the path to that place is going to be circuitous, whether it's spending, whether it's even the preservation of life itself. Some recognition of that by the Matt Gaetzes of the world would be helpful. Some acknowledgement that, or explanation, if he has one, why Kevin McCarthy and not Mike Johnson, if it was about what you said it was about.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Over 30 years ago, the challenge was accepted, and the Pride Stores has been redefining the convenience store experience throughout Chicagoland ever since. In the spirit of giving thanks this month to the surrounding communities for supporting the Pride Store's vision, you're invited to take advantage of their November promotion at the Pride of St. Charles. Buy 8 gallons of gas and receive 20% off your purchase at the Pride Beer and Wine Plus Spirits just next door. That's right, 8 gallons of gas gets you 20% off an amazing selection of local craft beers, high-end wines from Napa, Sonoma, Walla Walla, and Columbia Valley, plus a wide variety of Pride barrel picks. And don't forget about 93 Octane Brewery located inside the same building. Might as well get a pint while you shop. Offer ends Thursday, November 30th, and valid only at the Pride of St. Charles on Lincoln Highway. With 17 Chicagoland locations, visit thepridestores.com to find the one nearest you. That's thepridestores.com. The Pride Stores, not your typical convenience store.
Cable news. Noisy, out of touch, on repeat. Tired of all the lookalikes? So are we. Salem News Channel is here to change the game. Streaming 24/7, free on your TV with the greatest collection of conservative voices. Home to Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Like you, we say what's wrong and what's right. Unfiltered and unapologetic. Salem News Channel. We're the answer to the mainstream media. Learn more at snc.tv.
The Daily Herald 2022 Best of the Fox winner for Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. The 2022 Reader's Choice Award winner for Best Wealth Management Firm and Best Financial Planner is Total Clarity Wealth Management. Are you ready for a change? Choose Total Clarity Wealth Management. With a professional team of financial advisors and CPAs, they can show you the way to financial readiness and keep you on track. Their philosophy is built on solid relationships and trust, with access to expertise in tax planning strategies, 401k rollover services, estate planning, and more. They can help you be ready for anything.
Hi, this is Terry Murphy. The cornerstone of our practice has been to help clients stay focused on their goals throughout life's changes.
Get in touch with them at TotalClarityWealth.com. That's TotalClarityWealth.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Total Clarity Wealth Management Inc., a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Awards are based on number of reader votes. This award is not representative of the views of clients and is not indicative of future performance or services.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Be prepared for embarrassment. In the run-up to President Biden's visit with Chinese leader Xi Jinping in San Francisco this week, the Chinese foreign minister warned that the road to the meeting wouldn't be smooth sailing. In other words, China doesn't feel obligated to play nicely. And why would it? The Biden administration has become China's supplicant. One of its stated objectives for the meeting is to get China's help in dealing with Iran. Any sensible person realizes that's hopelessly naive. China's goal is to replace America as world leader. Why would anyone think it has the slightest incentive to help the United States? Worse, going hat in hand to the Chinese only creates an image of weakness. Let's hope this foolish gambit doesn't tempt Xi to miscalculate on Taiwan, just as Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan preceded Putin's invasion of Ukraine. With dictators like Xi and Putin, weakness always begets aggression.
You've heard me talk about my love of coffee over and over again. I'm here to tell you I have discovered one of the best brews I've ever tasted, and a company that I cannot wait to support. I'm here to tell you about Bone Frog Coffee. The Bone Frog is a sacred symbol in the SEAL teams. It honors those that gave the ultimate sacrifice, their lives. Bone Frog was founded by Tim Crook Shank, a former Navy SEAL and 25-year Navy veteran. Bone Frog honors the fallen, those who gave everything for our freedoms and our American way of life, by giving 10% of all the proceeds to benefit many of the U.S. Navy SEAL foundations. Here's what I need you to do. Go to bonefrogcoffee.com/liberty. Get 10% off your first order. You will also get 15% off Bone Frog Coffee subscriptions. Just enter Liberty at checkout. Go to bonefrogcoffee.com/liberty. That's bonefrogcoffee.com/liberty. Taste one of the best brews you ever tasted. 10% of the proceeds go to benefit the Navy SEALs. You'll feel good. It's an American company. Go to bonefrogcoffee.com/liberty.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I think the ecosystem that is Chicago is trying to send a family in Beverly a message. 538.
And later, you'll never believe what happened to the commander of the 4th District yesterday while he was at work. But now let's head into the newsroom. Things are shaking. What kind of earthquake do we have, Mike Scott?
Not a big one. 3.6 magnitude quake this morning centered on Granville, Illinois. 44 degrees at 5:31 on AM 560, The Answer. About 4 kilometers below the Earth's surface this morning, U.S. Geological Survey says it was again centered on Granville near La Salle, Peru. No reports of any damage or anything coming off the walls or the shelves at local stores. It follows a pattern of smaller to mid-size earthquakes across northern Illinois along the Wabash Fault. 13 years ago in Wasco, which is just west of Hoffman Estates, and 19 years ago, a 4.2 magnitude quake centered on Ottawa. President Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping will be meeting face-to-face today. Fox's Griff Jenkins has details.
The stage is set for this San Francisco summit. President Biden and Chinese President Xi sitting down face-to-face for the first time in a year that has seen relations between the two superpowers becoming increasingly more straining. The last time the two met on the sidelines of the G20 was just prior to when China started floating those spy balloons across the U.S. So the goal this time, it's to open those lines of communication. President Xi got a warm welcome to San Francisco from California Governor Gavin Newsom.
The two leaders are scheduled to meet on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. Israel says its military is attacking Hamas inside of Gaza's main hospital. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
Israel and the U.S. government say the Al-Shifa hospital sits on top of a Hamas control center. A senior medical official in Gaza reports Israeli tanks entered the compound and soldiers, in his words, stormed the buildings. Israeli Defense Forces spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari says they facilitated widespread evacuation of the hospital.
Israel is at war with Hamas, not with the civilians in Gaza.
Doctors say hundreds of people, including dozens of premature newborn babies, are sheltering inside. Hamas denies using patients as human shields. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
The House passes the interim spending bill from House Speaker Mike Johnson with just 3 days to go until a potential government shutdown. Tennessee Republican Congressman Mark Green, speaking with Fox, says he and his colleagues in the House Freedom Caucus decided to vote against the bill because it apparently ignores, in his words, border security.
We wanted the border on there, and so I think our statement to make to the Speaker is, look, let's get something for this.
The deadline is Friday. The Senate still has to pass that bill. Federal Reserve expected to make deep cuts to interest rates this spring. If a new estimate takes place from UBS Investment Bank, those cuts could come as early, says the bank, as March. 6 are dead, 18 are injured after a charter bus carrying high school students crashed in central Ohio. The Ohio State Highway Patrol says the crash happened Tuesday morning on I-70 near Columbus when the bus was rear-ended by a semi. Authorities in McHenry County this morning are asking residents of Johnsburg to shelter in place. McHenry County Sheriff's Office saying there's a heavy police presence near Hamlin Drive and Fillmore Road. Residents should avoid the area until further notice. Number 23, Illinois falters down the stretch in a 71-64 home loss to number 5 Marquette last night. Northwestern beat Western Michigan. In other college hoops action last night, DePaul over South Dakota, and UIC took down Loyola. The news, a service of Turnkey.pro. With decades of C-suite experience, Turnkey knows small business. Their team of veteran consultants knows how to reduce cost and grow new revenue streams, all without having to hire on-site professionals. Visit Turnkey.pro. That's Turnkey.pro. A check of traffic and weather's on the way next on AM 560.
Get ready for a musical journey like no other when the Trans-Siberian Orchestra returns to Chicago this Christmas season on their spectacular annual holiday tour. And AM 560 is giving away tickets. Enter today at 560theanswer.com/Christmas. Don't miss the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at the Allstate Arena. Go to 560theanswer.com/Christmas.
I'm Dave Nissen, CEO of PKF Mueller. As a CPA firm, we have been serving our business clients since 1968 by providing audit, accounting, tax, advisory, and consulting services. We as trusted advisors go beyond what our clients hired us to do by thinking outside the box to understand their operations and industry. We want to discover ways to increase their net income and cash flow by reducing costs or increasing efficiencies. To this end, PKF Mueller provides several client value-added services through strategic relationships. Our partners are specialists and serve the same type of clients that we do and add value by reducing our clients' overall electric and gas costs, discovering inaccuracies and overcharges on utility bills, assisting in financing of real estate, and helping to reduce uncollectible accounts and bad debt expenses. To learn more about our value-added service providers and how we can assist, call me directly at 630-524-5274 or dnissen@pkfmueller.com.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Calling all Patriots! Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Journey with me on the Patriots Alaska Cruise in June 2024. We'll dive deep into geopolitical trends and unpack the influences shaping the world today. It's an incredible opportunity to engage with me and other Patriots on an epic 7-day journey. Witness the untouched wilderness of Alaska while discussing America's future. Join us from June 29th to July 6, 2024. Book online, patriotsalaskacruise.com.
Pluto TV is your place for holiday channels, including Lifetime and Hallmark, all for free. Download the Pluto TV app on all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
5:38. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Better sleep and unmissable deals are a sure bet. Save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic and score a $300 instant gift for pillows and more. Don't miss the Black Friday sale at Mattress Firm. Kennedy right now stop and go inbound Nagel to Montrose, 26 and climbing on the inbound Kennedy. The Ike also climbing, brake lights flashing, Manheim to 25th, 27 in to the old post office this morning. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Abundant sunshine today. Warm conditions, high 64. Clear and a low of 45 overnight, and clouds on the increase tomorrow. 44 at O'Hare, 45 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy.
Song's very appropriate, Running with the Devil.
Chicago, the city that works you over again and again and again. Just ask that Beverly family, the Pettifords that we spoke about last week after that horrific armed carjacking at their home.
Yeah, and it went viral. I mean, we've heard, but even Network News picked this up because it was so graphic and but it was so real. Like one, she just came back from picking up her daughter from volleyball, and she's walking the house. Her daughter thankfully got in the house, shut the door, locked it. The mom, she was thrown to the ground, gun held to her head, and they wanted her keys, and she kept saying, "It's in the purse, it's in the purse." And then her husband came out and they pointed a gun at him.
And so everybody's familiar with that story.
Yes.
Now the rest of the story, Paul Harvey.
Well, what happened yesterday at 7:20 in the morning, they had their car stolen, their Land Rover at 7:20 a.m.
The other car.
The other car. Yeah, and apparently my source told me that when they took her purse, they took both sets of car keys with them. But the fact that how bold and brazen that these thieves, they come back to the scene of the crime and victimize the family again.
Encore. 2 businesses were robbed at gunpoint in Logan Square in less than 30 minutes Monday evening. Both of those businesses were also robbed last week. That's not the only Encore, Beverly. Is it starting to register? Particularly, well, I mean, not really particularly in Beverly, but we read the missive that Dad had sent out to friends, providing excruciating detail about what happened. It's terrible, very frightening. Had a gun pointed in his face with the confrontation, and of course the aftermath is that his wife is afraid, his 12-year-old daughter is afraid.
Can you imagine? This is like pouring salt on the wound, though.
So are you starting to get the message in Beverly? I'm talking to you, Democrats.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. I just am so naive, Dan, that I actually thought that, wow, if they had the second set of their car keys, that vehicle would be under surveillance. So if they came back to the scene of the crime, which I don't think they would do, but if they did, they'd be there to grab them.
Under surveillance by who?
By police. I don't.
What?
I know. I said I was naive. They don't know if the two cases are related. Yeah, they're related. The vehicle was recovered a short time later in the 9700 block of South Merrill. Nobody's been arrested there, but they say that they have 2 people in custody for the November 2nd carjacking.
It's just big city living, right? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro, text line.
And also what happened yesterday?
Well, you're worried about the surveillance on somebody's car who's already been carjacked. The commanders of the districts can't even avoid having their cars taken.
Yeah, please do. 79th and Jeffrey area. We'll head over there. And what's the car wanted for?
As far as I know, it's a straight steal. 5700 Adam? Yeah, it's the commanders in 4 vehicles. Oh, okay. Did you copy that, PH?
4th District Commander's vehicle?
Yep.
All right, we're going to be looking.
He'd appreciate that.
Yeah, he would. I mean, they don't even, what? Wait, the commander's vehicle? Yeah, Keith Milmine, he's been there for 26-year veteran, lives in the 4th District, works in the 4th District, was at work yesterday, and his vehicle was parked right across the street from the police station. It got stolen.
Big city living. Woman critically injured after man randomly strikes her with a log while she's walking on the Mag Mile. Interestingly, this happened very close to where Russ Long, the 49-year-old River North resident, employee of Northern Trust, was killed in a random assault this summer that we talked to you about by a repeat violent offender, was known, and it took Russ Long's friends to be unrelenting in their efforts to get police to investigate and ultimately bring the person responsible into custody. Struck in the face with a log outside of Burberry on 633 North Michigan.
Well, we better start banning logs.
Knocked her unconscious, fell to the ground. Source said the woman was believed to be a flight attendant who was shopping while on a layover in Chicago.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the suspect's picture? Mugshot? Dear Lord. 3 carjackings in Lakeview. All in a row. I mean, within 12 minutes.
Man who shot a driver near Roosevelt CTA while on bail for a felony case has been sentenced to 12 years in prison. Just tell you Chicago crime stories. I don't know what else to tell you. Sentenced to 12 years in prison, finally. 8-time felon. 12 years for shooting someone in the South Loop while on bail for a felony. Got to crack down on these criminals who commit crimes with guns. Got to crack down on gun crime. 8-time convicted felon. It's not even worth going through his rap sheet. I raised this because of the last piece of what I just relayed while on bail for a felony. This is back in 2021. He was the 52nd person accused of killing or trying to kill or shooting someone in Chicago while awaiting trial for a felony. Let me just go again and again. The number of people who were killed and injured simply because you didn't put repeat violent offenders behind bars awaiting trial.
How's that Safety Act going? This just in. A Venezuelan migrant has been charged with shoplifting from 3 stores on the Magnificent Mile in a single day. He hit up Ralph Lauren, Saks Fifth Avenue, Victoria's Secret, and he's been arrested 3 times under 2 different names since arriving from Chicago.
He's assimilating. Come join the murder and robbery and mayhem. Marty in Naperville.
Good morning. Once again, I'll ask, as I did last week, where can I go get my 2016 fully insured 400,000-mile Mazda stolen? Somebody let me know. I'd love to do that. Second of all, on the serious side, how come we haven't heard anything at all? I heard a little snippet about that 15-year-old who was killed by those 15 people or something when he was protecting his friend. How come we haven't heard anything about that? In fact, your screener, your producer had to tell me it was in Vegas. I didn't even know where it was.
Yeah, it was.
I saw a little
Rancho
snippet
High
on the
School.
news about.
Yeah, well, they arrested 8. They arrested 8 people and
Thanks,
charged them
Marty.
with first-degree murder. And I don't know why it took them so long, but it did. But they are finally behind. Well, they've been arrested, so we'll see what happens.
I mean, I don't think anybody's hiding the story. What's the point?
No, I know. I was just mad that they were because.
Kids killing kids? You don't have to go to Las Vegas to have that conversation, do you?
The 15, he was protecting his friend. They kicked the snot out of him so much that they ended his life.
I understand.
Well, it just upset me because I work in the school
thing.
system and you know who those kids are. So why are they even breathing another day without being arrested? They were, for almost a week, they were out on the street still.
Yeah, but whatever. Putting the case together with that many people, I don't know. It doesn't. I don't think that there's any indication that the Las Vegas PD was falling down on the job. But I mean, if the point is about kids killing kids.
Well, kids don't realize that they're so stupid that they don't really. If you get in a fist fight, guess what? Somebody could die, and here's a graphic example. So don't do it. Stabbing yesterday at Proviso West High School in the hallways.
Marvin, Burlington, Wisconsin.
Yeah, good morning. I just wondered if you recollect the story several years ago about the fella had his house broken into, and the people broke in, stole the car, and they took the keys, and then they came back. Like when this guy had come home from vacation, when first they were burglarized, no one was home, and the mother and father upstairs with the kids sleeping, and the guy happened to have a gun. And this was I get the W's mixed up, Wilmette or Winnetka, one of those two. They had a law against having a
this is the Hale DeMar case from decades ago. But yes, I know the case. So.
Yeah, right. I mean, this has been the same foolish people making the same foolish decisions about what to do with these criminals. Yeah, and it turned out one of those guys had 2 or 3 warrants on him from Georgia and Florida, and it's the same overeducated group of people with no street smarts making rules for common folks like us with common sense. And it just never changes. Never changes.
Thanks for the call, Marvin. Heather McDonald, our friend over at City Journal. Public safety has been destroyed in many American cities because of an idea. The idea holds that any law enforcement activity that has a disparate impact on black criminals is racist. Disparate impact is why many police departments have dismantled gang databases and anti-gun task forces, why they have given up on public order enforcement, and why they have all but eliminated car stops. It's why progressive district attorneys have stopped prosecuting trespassing, shoplifting, fare evasion, and resisting arrest. why bail is being eliminated, and why judges let repeat offenders back on the street. Disparate impact is the reason that chain stores like Starbucks and Walgreens would rather close high-loss outlets than accost thieves. Until the disparate impact conceit is demolished, permanently restoring law and order will be impossible. Conservatives can call for repolicing all they want unless they explicitly discredit the idea that incarcerating black criminals is racist. However, Democrat politicians and policymakers will be able to use disparate rates of stops and arrests to roll back constitutional crime control whenever they have the power to do so. You ready to say that, Chicago? Are you ready to say what Heather McDonald just wrote? To repeat after her? Are you? Or are you just going to bitch about crime? And emote over the latest victims? The idea holds any law enforcement activity that has a disparate impact on black criminals is racist. That is the idea that needs to be confronted. It is. She's right. Amy, care to weigh in? You like to talk about crime. What about that? You ready to confront that idea?
312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line.
Yes? No? You have no comment.
I have no comment.
Why?
Because everything I say, you're going to rip on, and I'm not in the mood. I am sick about what is going on. Well,
stop playing the victim.
I'm not playing the victim.
It's a simple question.
Yes.
Yes, you're ready to confront it.
Well, I don't know how to confront it. I don't know what confronting it looks like. I don't vote the way these morons vote that I live around.
Do you? The confronting it is acknowledging it.
Oh, I'm acknowledging. Yes.
I'm not asking you to, be a vigilante.
Well, you have to do what you have to do to protect your family.
Yeah,
and
but
we're already doing that over at our household.
Yeah, but the challenge issued by Heather McDonald is tell the truth about law enforcement and crime. Everybody can tell the truth. That's the question. Are you willing to tell the truth? Because I don't think most of Chicago is. You know how I know? Because I watch what they do. In Chicago, plan proposed to reduce excessive traffic stops of black and brown drivers. ACLU has found that blacks and Latinos are stopped more frequently than whites. That is prima facie evidence of racism, according to them and all the identitarian politicians that people in Beverly and the rest of the city have elected into office who won't tell the truth.
Who cares? I mean, they're so focused on the wrong thing. It's unbelievable.
Oh, wait, we tell you they got a 3-point plan.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, 3-point plan.
I don't believe their facts either.
Ban police stops for traffic violations when the primary intention of that stop is to fish for other signs of criminal activity. Prohibit all police stops for low-level traffic violations. Hey, similar bans are in place in Philly, Pittsburgh, and San Francisco. Yeah, look how well it's going out there.
Swimmingly.
Require Chicago police officers who have pulled a vehicle over for a traffic violation to have an independent legal basis to ask the driver to consent to be frisked or to have their vehicle or belongings searched. Because racial inequities, quote unquote, in stops and searches are such that black drivers were stopped 1.7 times more than whites, and Hispanic drivers were stopped 2.5 times, or 2.5 times more likely than whites to be stopped. We could talk about the incidence of violent crime, both in terms of perpetrators and victims, and what those numbers look like on a per capita basis.
What is it, like 90% black on black?
Talk about that. And that is evidence of white supremacy. Everything is evidence of racism. Everything is evidence of racism directed at brown and black. So say the leadership of the city. So says the electorate, the majority of the electorate of the city. Tell the truth about law enforcement and crime. And the answer Chicago is giving to that challenge is no. No, we're not going to. Well, then you're going to get the same policies and the same proposals that you've been getting as Marvin from Burlington said, for generations.
The Amish texter has weighed in. Dan and Amy, Chicago, the town's so nice, they rob you twice.
Matt, Southside.
Hey, good morning, Dan. You mentioned something about these illegals assimilating, and I think Amy mentioned something about that guy who shoplifted at Victoria's Secret. She referred to him as a he. Well, he's assimilating as a Democrat. He's a thief and a cross-dresser.
Carl, Big Cabin, Oklahoma.
Good morning. Hey,
the great
this
state that brought us Mark Wayne Mullen. We'll get to him.
Oh, yeah, I love that guy. Cowboy, a real cowboy.
I actually live in Wisconsin where we have good football. Well, maybe next year.
Yeah.
On to my point, this all started with the George Floyd fentanyl overdose death. You know, he was dealing drugs and peddling money, but this generation of thugs has been emboldened. And out in Vegas, they made it a point that if you stand up to them, you will be punished. Well, eventually, and the state's not going to do that. They're going to say they're all underage and let them go. And what's going to happen is the state don't want to do nothing. We're going to start seeing vigilante justice. There's got to be men. It's not toxic masculinity when you stand up to these thugs. It's masculinity.
Thanks.
There's a few of us left, not a lot.
Thanks, Carl. George, Naperville.
Yeah, I don't think the summer job program's enough. They need fall and winter jobs, too, to keep these kids off the street.
Yeah,
So,
right.
You know, he campaigned on year-round jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They're going to come to City Hall, remember? How'd that work out?
Heather McDonald makes the point about the obvious hypocrisy. But it's not because whites are trying to imprison, sideline black and brown Americans. It's quite the opposite, in fact, most of us. Maybe Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump should be challenged. Maybe Black Lives Matter should be, to say the names of the dozens of black children slain in drive-by shootings by blacks since the George Floyd riots. Maybe they should be asked why Crump and Sharpton, why they avoided a hospital in North Minneapolis when a 10-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl were in adjacent rooms, having both been shot in the head in separate drive-bys. The girl died a few days after the Sharpton-Crump visit. The boy will be disabled for life. Their lives matter, too, but they are of no interest to the race agitators. Well-meaning Americans also turn their eyes away from black crime in deference to racial etiquette. Such etiquette, however understandable, is costing lives. It will continue to do so until and unless the next presidential administration tells the truth about law enforcement and crime, and it's not just up to the president. Coming up at 6:06, Mark Wayne Mullen, a senator from Oklahoma's throwdown with a Teamsters boss during a Senate hearing. 6:06.
And later, we've been waiting for this for over a month. American families whose loved ones are being held by Hamas are now speaking out. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
Amy and Dan, an earthquake in northern Illinois. We'll tell you where. City Council expected to vote on Mayor Johnson's first budget. A Beverly family is a victim a second time of a vehicle theft this month. A man charged with attacking a woman along the Magnificent Mile, and an Illinois lawmaker charged with DUI. Fighting Illini fall the number 5 Marquette in college hoops. And WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Israeli troops raid a hospital in Gaza. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The Israeli military says no fighting has taken place within the Al-Shifa hospital, and the goal is to clear it of Hamas terrorists based in tunnels underneath the compound.
Israeli Defense Forces spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari says they facilitated widespread evacuation of the hospital.
Israel is at war with Hamas, not with the civilians in Gaza.
Doctors say hundreds of people, including dozens of premature newborn babies, are sheltering inside. Hamas denies using patients as human shields. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
President Biden meets today with the president of China at a garden estate south of San Francisco.
President Biden and Chinese President Xi sitting down face-to-face for the first time in a year that has seen relations between the two superpowers becoming increasingly more strained. The goal this time is to open those lines of communication.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. There's an Asia-Pacific Economic and Trade Summit in San Francisco. Both presidents are attending. The House, 336-95, votes yes on a short-term spending bill ahead of Friday night's deadline to avoid a partial government shutdown. Some Republicans oppose the lack of spending cuts.
New House Republican Speaker Mike Johnson, like his predecessor, had to rely on Democratic votes to get the legislation through. And some, like Texas Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, wanted the credit.
It's the Democrats that have come to save America and to stop this dastardly shutdown.
As for how the Senate might vote when they get this, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has praised the CR for its lack of spending cuts and said the Senate will also debate Ukraine and Israel funding after the Thanksgiving break. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The man charged in a hammer attack on former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi husband Paul at their home in San Francisco last year, David DePape, admits doing it on the stand in his attempted murder trial. DePape cried and says he didn't plan to hurt Paul Pelosi and thought he was dead after the attack. He says he wanted to speak to Nancy Pelosi about government corruption, with the possibility of committing violence against her. America's listening to Fox News.
"44 degrees in Chicago at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Northern Illinois was awakened this morning, specifically in the area of LaSalle and Peru, by an earthquake. 3.6 magnitude earthquake near Granville, Illinois. At a magnitude of 3.6, it was 4 kilometers below the Earth's surface and did not cause any damage that we know of. Meantime, authorities in McHenry County have asked residents of Johnsburg to shelter in place. McHenry County sheriffs say there's a heavy police presence in the area of Hamlin Drive and Fillmore Road. Sheriff's office says residents in the area should avoid it until further notice. Sheriff's police confirmed through social media shots were fired at a residence near Hamlin and Fillmore, and a police standoff is underway. Chicago aldermen are expected to vote today on Mayor Brandon Johnson's first budget. The proposed $16.6 billion spending plan sets aside $150 million for illegal migrants, some of whom may be seeking asylum. As the mayor welcomed new police recruits yesterday, budget insiders confirm the spending plan doubles staffing for non-police 911 response teams and reopens 2 mental health clinics.
Thank you all for answering the call to serve. This is a great day for you and for the city of Chicago. Our entire city is strengthened by every single one of you who has dedicated your life to this career.
But Wirepoint's commentator Ted Dabrowski says the budget does nothing to solve Chicago's soaring crime problem or slumping morale and dropping numbers in the ranks of Chicago police.
No, I think the issue continues to be police morale and police support. I still believe that they're not confident that their backs are being taken care of.
Among new costs in Mayor Johnson's budget are a pension fix, estimated to cost more than $60 million, a new office dedicated to helping those returning from jail or prison, and funding 50 new ward staffers, 1 for each alderman. An investigation is underway after a second vehicle was stolen this month from a family in Chicago's Beverly neighborhood. Police say the first theft happened on November 2nd when 2 armed men violently carjacked a woman and her 12-year-old as they were returning home from a practice. The second incident took place yesterday morning when a second vehicle was taken from the home. 2 suspects were arrested last night in connection with the thefts. And Indiana officials are lowering the boom on the president of the Chicago Teachers Union for taking what is being called an unlawful deduction on a home she owns in South Bend, Indiana. St. Joseph's County auditors sent a letter to Stacey Davis Gates, assessing her nearly $4,000 over 3 years of back taxes plus penalties. Chicago sports. Number 23, Illinois faltered down the stretch during a 71-64 loss to number 5 Marquette last night. Northwestern survived a scare from Western Michigan in a 63-59 win at Welsh Ryan. Other college basketball action, DePaul a winner over South Dakota, and UIC beat Loyola 72-67. The news, a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency. Go to surroundchicago.com today. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
The Sean Thompson Show.
Hezbollah leader threatens escalation. You've been threatening. You know, they all threaten from Qatar. You know, this is the one thing. And here in America, same thing. All of these old men, it looks like the shooting of Cocoon 3. All of these 90-year-old men, they send our young boy. How come none of the leaders fight? See, I want to fight him. I'll fight you. I want to fight the leader of Hamas. I'll fight the leader of Hezbollah. I want to fight you.
The Sean Thompson Show. Weekday afternoons at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you order food for work, you know the drill. It's a whole bunch of needs and requests piled on top of each other. Make sure the food's on time and on budget. Make sure everyone's dietary needs are taken care of. Make sure everyone's happy. And that's why you should make sure you use ezCater. It's one simple, reliable platform for all your food for work needs. Need to make sure food for work actually works? Simple. Make sure it's ezCater. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Order 24/7 at ezCater.com.
At Simply Safe Home Security, your safety is the only thing that matters. That's why you get 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, because every home deserves to be protected. Right now, get 50% off the whole home security system named the best of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. Visit simplysafe.com/radio to save big today. Advanced Home Security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
You want a killer Black Friday deal? Get a free Moto 5G phone when you sign up for Pure Talk's unlimited talk, unlimited text, and 15 gig data plan for just $35 a month. Just dial pound 250 and say keyword SAVE NOW to get this exclusive offer and to select the plan that's right for your family. Pure Talk gives you America's most dependable 5G network at half the price. Dial pound 250 and say keyword SAVE NOW to claim your free Moto 5G phone with qualifying plan.
With the holidays upon us, the increase in traveling, shopping, and connecting online also heightens the need to protect your identity and finances with LifeLock. Identity thieves see this time of year as an opportunity to drain your accounts, open new loans in your name, and damage your financial future. LifeLock detects and alerts you to the threats you might miss on your own. Don't let the busy holiday season catch you off guard. Save up to 25% off your first year with promo code CLAY. LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
Hi, my name is Peg. I'm a wife, mother, and grandmother. Family is so important to me, and I want to stay healthy so that I can continue to do the things that I enjoy doing with all of them. I would recommend Balance of Nature. It's so easy to do every day. I feel great, and who doesn't want to feel great?
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
6:09, let's get an update on the roads. In our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, Eden's right now, brake lights at Cicero, 24 into the junction. Kennedy clearing an accident inbound at Austin. You'll also see brake lights inbound at Nagel. Ike inbound stop and go between Wolf and 25th, 36 minutes into the old post office. The Dan Ryan this morning, already stop and go in the express inbound between 43rd and the Stevenson. Tri-State overturned vehicle, 2 right lanes blocked. Northbound near Dundee Road, you're backed up to Willow with that accident. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Lots of sun, warm day today, the high at 64. Clear, chilly night tonight, low 45. Clouds and warm, breezy day tomorrow, the high at 65. Morning shower on Friday, otherwise clouds and sun, much cooler. The high Friday only 48. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
44 at O'Hare, 45 Midway, 45 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. It's rules of the road in life. You don't want to pick a fight with a guy named Mark Wayne. I think that just anybody who has two names as their first name.
Well, you know what they say. Yeah, never trust a guy with two first names.
It's not
not like that in this case.
Yeah, but it's not two first names. It's not like his name is Mark Wayne. It's one first name that's two names. That's
Mark
a category unto itself. Mark Wayne Mullen is a former congressman, now the senator, one of the two senators from Oklahoma.
He's my hero.
He's also a former MMA fighter. He's pretty jacked. Well, he kind
of looks like you, but just a little different.
He and the boss of the Teamsters, Sean O'Brien, don't particularly care for one another. And I guess the last time that O'Brien appeared before a Senate committee on which Mark Wayne Mullen sits, after that hearing and whatever exchange they had, Sean O'Brien, the Teamsters boss, took to social media and called Senator Mullen names.
Well, but also it was a picture he had of Mark Wayne Mullen standing at a lectern, and he was standing on a little box, and he circled the box and then wrote greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. In reality, just a clown and a fraud, always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in the Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. That's what he tweeted.
Well, that was the name calling I was referencing. Yeah.
It was,
So Senator Mullen brought that up because, basically, I'll be your Huckleberry.
Everybody knows this here. And the last time, him and I kind of had a back and forth. Appreciate your demeanor today. It's quite different. But after you left here, you got pretty excited about the keyboard. In fact, you tweeted at me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. Sir, I wish you was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company myself, and my wife was running the office because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every problem?
No, sit down. Sit down. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond, Mr. Chairman?
Hold it. If we can, no, I have the mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make
like
it
worse. Thugs and bullies. And that's what-
I don't like you because you
Hold
just
it.
described yourself.
Hold it. You have the mic.
Yeah.
You have time.
All right.
Make your statement.
312-642-5787. 5600 turnkey.pro answer line 64636DA turnkey.pro text line. How'd you like Comrade Bernie playing the peacemaker?
Hold on.
Mark Wayne Mullen did stand up, and Sean O'Brien did not. But you heard the exchange. Is that conduct unbecoming a senator? Should we expect more from our elected officials? Is that sort of bellicose discourse and challenging people to a fight? Is that just across the line, or not?
Secretly, I was like, this is the best thing I've seen in a long, long time. And I wanted him to take it to him. Because you can't make vital, threats like that and just say it. No, I mean, you wrote it. You're a keyboard warrior. And now you're face to face with the senator who you made disparaging remarks about. So get up and fight like a man. Why can't we do that anymore?
Here's what Mark Wayne Mullen had to say on Hannity last night about the incident.
Yeah, it is. And in Oklahoma, people tell me, I've had media come up to me and says, this isn't coming of a senator. I was like, listen, I'm a guy from Oklahoma first. In Oklahoma, you don't do this. Maybe you run your mouth in New Jersey. I don't know. I'm not from New Jersey, but this is some thug. That's a mob boss, and you're supposed to be intimidating because he's the boss of the Teamsters. And he's got away with this. He's got suspended by his own Teamsters before for intimidation. He's been in trouble multiple times. He in 2022, he said he wanted to bring the mob mentality back to the Teamsters. Maybe that's true, but you still aren't going to run your mouth at me and expect me to just sit there. And you should have seen the fear of his eyes when I stood up, too. I'm not joking. I'm not looking for a fight. I used to get paid to fight professionally. I'm not really looking for it, but I'm sure not going to sit back and let somebody do that and not call him out on it.
And Mark Wayne Mullen went a little bit further, saying, look, we need more of what I did.
And this guy, I just don't think that he was expecting me to answer the call. And we need more of this, to be quite frank. I'm not saying more violence, but we need more people to be taught a lesson and be called out on what they say. You got to be responsible for the words.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line, responsible for the words.
What do you think, Dan? What did you think of that exchange?
I wanted Mark Wayne Mullen to take Sean O'Brien outside and teach him some manners. I'm really tired of the guys who pretend to be tough guys. Yes, some politicians do. But the guys who pretend to be tough guys are guys like Sean O'Brien, these goon squad politicians, because, I mean, being the head of the Teamsters is not very different than being a politician. We saw the same thing with Sean Fain with the auto workers, too. You know what?
They should focus on trying to find Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, it's just that workers of the world unite, we're real men kind of stuff, while you get pushed around and make your beds with the pronoun police. With the purveyors of Drag Queen Story Hour, with the pro-abortion shrews in leafy suburbs, because that's who you're allied with, tough guy, Sean O'Brien. And so many of these, public sector unions for sure, but even the trades. Yeah. I'm real impressed, and I'm real afraid. It would have been nice. Well, nice is the wrong word. It would have been a moment if Mark Wayne Mullen put Sean O'Brien in a submission hold outside and essentially said, you asked for it and you got it.
Because he did ask for it. Any place, any time, cowboy. Okay, time is now.
Dave and Cicero, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, sir. I wrestled in high school, a little bit beyond, actually did tournaments in my mid-30s. Rolled around in a jiu-jitsu gym, very low level, my talent-wise, mediocre at best. There are millions of dudes out there that look like nothing.
Oh, I know.
That would take me apart like a clock, and I'm built and all that. I mean, which could kill me in 30 seconds or a minute. Don't get in fights. Don't get in fights with anybody. That's just the thing. Or pick fights like this Teamster guy did. Don't do that, dude. You get hurt bad.
Thanks
That's all. Thank you.
Thanks for the call. There's no question. I mean, you look at thinking of MMA since Mark Wayne Mullen was MMA. I mean, you think of the Gracie family. Some of those Gracies are little wiry dudes, and they would
rip your throat out.
I mean, they could they could dismember me with their hands in 30 seconds.
Okay.
I mean, David Cicero is absolutely right, but I think Mark Wayne Mullen had Sean O'Brien properly measured.
Yeah.
So a little
And
different.
Sean O'Brien looked a little shocked when he stood up. Like, oh, is this happening?
Bill and Glen Ellen.
Yeah, I would like it to go back to the days where they would beat each other with canes on the floor of the House and the Senate.
Yeah, the good old days.
A nice, yeah, I think a nice
Simpler times
teaches people. A nice dose of violence teaches people to be more respectful and polite in their public discourse. You know, public dueling. You know, I could see that coming back too. That
Sure.
might be nice.
Yeah, sure. Bring back the days of Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, right?
Could have a musical.
It gets settled. That's one way to settle things.
Well, don't get her done, Dad.
Matt, South Bend.
I was just going to mention that, thanks for taking my call. I'm sorry. With reference for bullying, online bullying, I mean, if we address that, I mean, he's got every right to go ahead and pick the union boss right outside, like you said, and get the striped shirt on Bernie, and we get it going.
Exactly. Best 2 or 3 falls, yeah. Tom, Blue Island.
Good morning, Dan, Amy. The leftists are such cowards. I think this is part of why Trump is so popular. I'm not trying to intimate Trump as some kind of badass. It's just so frustrating when you lose to these people that are such obvious cowards. And that's why my hope was always Trump the sledgehammer and have DeSantis come in and clean everything up. But it's so frustrating to lose to these people when they're such pansies. And Dan, I don't know if you had a quick moment. Maybe you could regale that story of yours when you were on Channel 2, kind of your Bill Buckley moment with Gore Vidal, with someone. I can't remember the story.
Weren't you on at Fox 32?
Oh, with Martwick?
Yeah.
When you ask the guy to go outside, Dan, I mean, I don't know you that well personally, but it's kind of out of your demeanor, it seems, and that's what makes it so damn funny.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Yeah, actually, it has happened a couple of times, so I probably need to take Dave from Cicero's advice more seriously, because I'm not holding myself out as some sort of prize fighter, but I think I properly measured my competition as well when I offered those opportunities to Pat Brady once at the City Club.
I was there for that one.
Yeah, to
I think you could have taken him. All right, go on.
Oh my God, I'd make him stand on the road. He's an old man.
Just
please.
Inserting my opinion about the fight. Yes.
and Bobby
hypothetical one.
Bobby Martwick, who's another one of these tough guy, one of the, wannabe tough guys, Northwest Side. He's a rough and tumble working dude, kind of representing the blue collar working dude and the cops and firefighters on the Northwest Side. Yeah, my ass. He's 20 pounds of dung in a 10-pound suit. And on Fox Chicago, yeah, I think I called him a scumbag or something in our exchange, because he's a lowlife, like so many of these people are, in office and office adjacent, like some of these union bosses. And I have no problem with the trades, as I've said many times over the years. I had a good relationship with Bill Dugan when he was the president of Local 150. I had a good relationship with Jim Sweeney at Local 150. I have a good relationship with guys at IBEW and the plumbers over the years too. So I have no problem with the trades, and I have no problem even with a lot of the leadership over the years. There's nothing. All those trade jobs are honorable jobs done mainly by honorable people. So it's not that, but it's the politics piece of it. And it's those individuals who make deals that I wouldn't make and run scams that I wouldn't be a part of. That's the issue. And I think that's the issue with Markwayne Mullin as it pertains to Sean O'Brien, especially when he pulls this, class envy silliness about greedy CEO because Markwayne Mullin built up a multi-million-dollar plumbing business. I don't know his hiring practices. If he's union, non-union shop, he's probably right to work in Oklahoma. But that doesn't mean you don't hire union workers and so on and so forth. But it's just all that, like, you're not for the working man and I am, and you're a greedy this and they deserve that. That whole rap is just nonsensical, and it's tiresome. And these guys, by the way, who, all in, make very nice livings. I'm talking about the bosses of these unions, these big unions. It just gets a little bit much sometimes.
They're so high on their horse.
Yeah,
I'm going to take on a U.S. senator.
It gets layered on a little thick, and again, and I'm looking around at your allies, and you're going to try to persuade me with that, as I said, cheap Marx Engels, workers of the world unite rhetoric. Come on, dude. Aaron, Munster, Indiana.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. Go ahead, Aaron.
I just got off the phone.
By the way, Dana White's too busy. He was going off on his podcast. We'll get to it about Peloton. So he's gonna.
Oh, I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
Did you have a Peloton?
No.
I did. I did for the both of us. I rode for you too.
I did do those flywheel classes.
That's right.
My suburban activewear. Greg in Jefferson Park.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good friend of mine, may he rest in peace, used to work for the state of Illinois and one of the painting crews doing the roads and stuff. Anyway, he was a Teamster. All their guys were Teamsters, and the rep was in there talking up on the new contract that the state had proposed, and the Teamsters were all for it. And my buddy knew finance, and he's like, no, this deal ain't no good. And he showed his guys why it wasn't good, and they all voted it down. And the union steward was basically threatened him, and he chased him out of the place with a pipe.
Well, boys will be boys. I mean, I got it. Thanks for the call, Greg. Yeah, I mean, it can get a little chippy in the union hall.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Oh, Stearns, that's new.
Stearns and Bolingbrook?
Hey, I think that this country was a lot better when we tarred and feathered politicians and they stood up for what they believed in. And I'm not a tough guy, but I won't back down from what's right.
Thanks for the call, Stearns. Appreciate it. Yeah. We have one vote for caning. We have one vote for tar and feathering.
Okay. Chasing of pipe.
Uh-huh. Well, man strips off naked, runs outside, and howls at the moon. None of my concern. Does the same thing in my living room. You kind of gonna have to deal with it. John, Crown Point.
Hey, Dan and Amy. I love both of you. Of course, I love Amy more, but there's been a few times when I wanted to punch Dan. Man, I wanted to give you a punch for being mean to Amy. That's my woman, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
We're so close.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right. Wonderful
Chivalry's
restraint.
not dead.
Yeah, restraint on your part, John. Grant in Rockford.
Good morning, you guys. It was great to see that guy, if he had any complexion at all, see it all leave his face when the senator stood up and took his ring off. Oh, that little worm just started to squirm in his chair. And I tell you what, these are the people that words are violence. Don't misgender me. It's violence. Well, when real violence comes knocking, they beg for those police that they want to defund. Have a good one.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to I mean, Sean O'Brien is the definition of pasty Irish.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God.
I don't think he would have lasted
He's like
2 seconds.
It's like a ghost.
You know what? He sent a message yesterday. Mark Wayne did to that Teamster, and I'm glad.
Phil in Maryville.
Hey, I just want to say I'm a proud voting Republican Teamster, and we need more guys like that because the Democrats like to fly it off at the mouth and say whatever they want. This guy shows what a true Republican is, and these rhinos need to get on board. I hope that guy, his wife bought him a steak dinner and took him home and did what she had to do.
Okay. Oh, my God.
Nice. Spoken like a true Teamster. All right, Phil.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk economics civilly. There'll be no threats. There'll be no
throwdowns,
fisticuffs. Jim Urio, host of the Futures Edge podcast, 636.
But first, let's stop by that newsroom and say good morning to the best in the business. Here's Mike Scott.
I think the last fight in the U.S. Senate, at least on the floor, was like 1902.
Wow. Who won?
That was Susan Collins versus Di-Fi, right?
No, that was just a takedown. No, it was a guy from senator from South Carolina who was attacking the other senator from South Carolina. At that point, fighting. Two Democrats coming to blows on the floor of the Senate. I think our erstwhile history professor may have more on that in an upcoming presentation. We're watching San Francisco this morning. President Biden and Chinese President Xi will be meeting face-to-face today in San Francisco. The latest now with Fox's Griff Jenkins.
The stage is set for this San Francisco summit. President Biden and Chinese President Xi sitting down face-to-face for the first time in a year that has seen relations between the two superpowers becoming increasingly more strained. The last time the two met on the sidelines of the G20 was just prior to when China started floating those spy balloons across the U.S. So the goal this time is to open those lines of communication. President Xi got a warm welcome to San Francisco from California Governor Gavin Newsom.
The House passes the interim spending bill from Speaker Mike Johnson. 3 days to go until a potential government shutdown. Tennessee Republican Congressman Mark Green on Fox says he and his colleagues in the House Freedom Caucus decided to vote against the bill because it ignores border security.
We wanted the border on there. And so I think our statement to make to the Speaker is, look, let's get something for this.
The Senate still has to pass the bill. The Federal Reserve expected to make deep cuts to interest rates this spring. But that's just an estimate from UBS Investment Bank. They claim the cuts could come as early as March. 6 are dead, 18 badly hurt after a charter bus carrying high school students crashes in central Ohio near Columbus. Authorities in McHenry County this morning have asked residents of Johnsburg to shelter in place. Sheriff's Police confirmed through social media that shots were fired at a residence near Hamlin and Fillmore, and a police standoff is underway. Chicago aldermen are expected to vote today on Mayor Brandon Johnson's first budget, a proposed $16.6 billion spending plan. Among the new costs to Mayor Johnson's budget are a pension fix estimated to cost more than $60 million and funding for 50 new taxpayer-funded ward staffers, one for each alderman. An investigation continues after a second vehicle was stolen this month from a family in Chicago's Beverly neighborhood. You've heard Dan and Amy talk about it this morning as police say the first theft happened November 2nd. When two armed men carjacked a woman and her 12-year-old. The second incident took place yesterday morning. 2 suspects were arrested last night in connection with those thefts. A man is accused of attacking a woman along Chicago's Magnificent Mile. Police say the suspect threw a heavy object at the victim's head Monday in the 600 block of North Michigan Avenue. Authorities arrested Bruce Diamond, who's been charged with 1 felony count of aggravated battery causing great bodily harm. Chicago sports. Number 23, Illinois, falters down the stretch, losing to number 5, Marquette in Champaign, 71-64. Northwestern, a college hoops win over Western Michigan. UIC beat Loyola 72-67, and Valparaiso snuck past Wisconsin Green Bay. The news is a service of Staples stores. Staples holiday deals mean amazing savings for the holiday season. Right now, save 50% on custom holiday cards and invites. Offer ends 12/16. Visit staples.com/print for more details. 6:35, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum sees a backwards investigation.
It, to me, seems like they're hunting and hunting and hunting and hunting and hoping to find something on Donald Trump. because of political purposes. So that means that they are doing the investigation backwards. They are literally have a verdict in mind of a conviction, and they're trying to find all the evidence that they can to put him in that position.
The Officer Tatum Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-299-7878. That's 800-299-7878. 800-299-7878.
Looking to purchase a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Saving for a down payment is one of the largest challenges borrowers face when purchasing a home. But I have amazing news. Team Hochberg has a new loan program for borrowers who qualify that will enable you to purchase a home with only 1% down and no private mortgage insurance. You heard me. Team Hochberg has a new loan program that will enable borrowers who qualify to purchase a home with only 1% down and no private mortgage insurance. To see if you qualify, call Team Hochberg now at 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of radio listeners secure financing on new homes, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. 855-563-2843 or visit our website 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061.
Do you have a home remodeling project you'd love to get done? This is your opportunity to lock in this year's pricing with Chicago's Design Build Dream Team. Forever Remodeling is now offering exceptional savings. Simply sign on by December 31st to avoid any price increases next year. At Forever Remodeling, their expert designers and installers will turn your dreams into reality. Act now and you'll not only protect yourself from future price increases, but also beat the rush and secure a preferred spot in their schedule. Call 847-809-3355 or visit foreverremodeling.com. Highly skilled to design and build.
Lots of channels, nothing to watch, especially if you're looking outside of big corporate control. It's time to interrupt your regularly scheduled programs with something worth watching. The new Salem News Channel. Straightforward, unfiltered, in-depth insight and analysis from the greatest collection of conservative minds, all in one place. SNC is home to Dennis Prager, Mike Gallagher, Sebastian Gorka, and more. Watch anytime on any screen. Free 24/7. Find what you're looking for at snc.tv.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave. Don't treat yourself like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
6:38. Let's check the roads in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Eden's at 35, Lake Cook Road to the junction. The Kennedy about an hour from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Ike right now at 53 into the old post office. The Stevenson on the brakes, Harlem to Pulaski. 40 minutes into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan right now 28 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Tri-State disabled vehicle blocking a right-hand lane northbound between the Stevenson and the Reagan I-88. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Abundant sunshine today. High 64, clear and a low of 45 overnight. Increasing clouds tomorrow, also a high of 65. Currently 44 at O'Hare, 30 in Aurora, and 40 in Joliet. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business powered by Mirabali Insurance. Sunday evenings at 6.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Let's talk a little local economics first. A banker friend of mine told me this. This is be a nice addition to the offerings for migrants, if this is indeed true. The Ambassador East.
Oh, right, Ambassador East Hotel.
Yeah, has been in foreclosure since July of this year. They failed in an attempt to sell it last year. Now rumors are swirling that it is being eyed as a migrant shelter.
Oh, boy.
A la the...
That's right by Pritzker's house.
The old Ditka's.
Yeah.
Which would be great.
Yeah, it's right there in the Gold Coast. I think that's exactly what that neighborhood needs right now, right by Latin High School. Francis Barker's nearby. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, next goes the peninsula. I mean, I think that L.A., we should adopt the policy of L.A., which is to pass an ordinance mandating that hotels shall use empty rooms to house the homeless and or migrants and will be paid whatever daily rate the city sets that they decide is fair. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, they even had the mayor of Los Angeles. She said 2 days ago, she was talking to MSNBC, that mass leasing of hotels, because Dan, she wants to keep them together. So if you're living on a sidewalk with a group of guys, she wants to put them together in the same hotel so that they have a sense of community.
Absolutely. Karen Bass is her name. She's a former member of Congress, and this was something proposed before she even was elected, and it was being moved even before she was elected, and now she wants to scale it. Good for her. That's giving the people what they want.
And also, too, learning this morning that if Mayor Johnson doesn't get $738 million from the federal government, he's going to raise our property taxes. That's on the table, or try and dip into reserves that we have. But that's
of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's on the table. I mean, that's just pedestrian. What do you expect? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, he said he campaigned on, he wasn't going to raise our property taxes unless you have $1 million home or more. Yes.
This commercial real estate situation in Chicago, a tweeter who goes under Triple Net Investor, that's a pretty good Twitter handle if you're in commercial real estate. He tweets a lot about this topic. He's clearly
he's good.
Knows the space. Another Chicago commercial real estate nightmare, the Jewelers Building, the historic landmark tower in Chicago, reportedly going to be sold for a shocking price of around $39 million or $70 a square foot. The current owner has reportedly spent more than $118 million in upgrades over the last 2 decades. Reported back in May, the current owner was trying to find a buyer ahead of loan maturity. It was seen as a candidate to be converted to apartments, but no buyer emerged ahead of the loan maturity, sending the property into receivership. Unable to find a buyer, the lender moved to foreclosure on the property owner after the loan matured. Another possible site for migrants and
now you're
the homeless.
Getting into it.
So that's what we should be looking at, converting commercial real estate into residential properties as BLM Brandon expands his Gimme Dat real estate empire.
Well, we're going to have to do it because we even had Alderman Lopez on the show who said those tent cities, the one on 38th in California and 115th in Hall, said they're not going to be ready until June. And people are getting pretty upset that they're setting up camps in the parkway between their house and the street.
Yeah,
I heard today they're going to be taking down the tents out of the 17th district.
Yeah, we'll see.
So where are they going to put those people?
It's big city living. I don't really, the complaints, those NIMBY complaints, we don't pay attention to those. Jim Urio is the host of the Future's Edge podcast. He's a proprietor of Brant's in Palatine. Good burgers there. Good ribs there, too. I've had them. Jim, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Don't forget about the tacos.
Thanks for having me. Tacos, the fish tacos, yeah.
Oh.
So, just that commercial real estate story, and the story of commercial real estate in Chicago in particular, since it's here, and big cities, to which we've been sort of talking about, waiting to see what happened. There was, I know we talked to you about this before. It's like, let's start to see third, fourth quarter, beginning of next year, you're going to start to see a spike in some of these foreclosures. Is that starting to happen?
Sure, it is starting to happen, and it's going to escalate. One thing we got to remember, we've talked about on this show before too, is that everybody had the opportunity to roll into very good longer-term loans in the period right before the hiking cycle started. So the rates are high now. But just to put it in perspective, $2.8 trillion of commercial real estate loans are going to mature by 2027. So as we start to move forward each quarter, these real estate loans will mature, and there's no reason for them to be renewed. So there'll be more vacancy, and property values will start. Then it becomes this like cycle, and then knuckleheads like our government will try to turn them into migrant shelters. And by the way, when you were saying those ideas, I think we came up with another couple awful ideas. We'd then be qualified to run for mayor, I think.
Exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't like. One thing is when in our little circles they like talk about how awful Brandon Johnson is. Brandon Johnson is not awful. He's completely competent, and he's doing exactly what he said when he was elected mayor of Chicago. He said he would make it a more crime-friendly city, as crazy as that sounds. Stop pursuit on foot, defund the police, whatever nonsense that is, decriminalizing petty theft. These big city mayors told you exactly what they were going to do, the metaphorical you, not us, of course, and they voted for him anyway. So why would you start expanding your footprint in the city from a commercial real estate point of view, knowing full well that this knucklehead is trying to increase crime? And what you said, too, Amy, you hit it right on the head. I've been wondering and scratching my head why in the world they'd want to institute such toxic, destructive policies in urban centers. And it must be because they felt that the game was lost anyway, and they needed to go to the federal government and say, look at how awful things are. We need $1 trillion. That has to be, in my opinion, the end game there. But the commercial real estate, that's where the big fissure is in our economy right now, and I think that's the thing we should keep an eye on.
What do you think's next for the city of Chicago, though? I mean, you have all these.
No.
We found out yesterday.
Not going to happen.
Only 51% of companies have their workers back to work Monday through Friday. So there's still a lot of vacant space out there, and I don't think it's going to get filled up anytime soon.
And we've seen cities collapse on themselves. Detroit, in the 50s, Detroit was the Paris of the Midwest. Detroit was this brilliant, fantastic city, and then all of a sudden, because it was hinged too much to one industry, that industry faltered and the whole thing went south. I mean, we've seen cities go south before. Sometimes they have, a renaissance as the economy goes. But to think that standard of living in the Chicago area, and by the way, I live in the northwest suburbs, and when my friends out there start talking to me about the Bears moving out there and this and that, which I'm not certain is really going to happen, I try to describe it as like, you remember when the Titanic broke in the middle and the sides went way up in the air? That's what we're experiencing now in the suburbs, like the flight from the city of businesses. And I spoke to the mayor of my town when Brandon Johnson got elected, and I said, are you talking to some of these Chicago businesses about potentially moving out to Palatine? He said, yeah, and none of them want to move anywhere in Cook County, and all they have to do is go one or two more towns further out, and then they're out of Cook County and away from Chicago. The further they want to get, the better.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I think the Bears thing is going to happen, by the way. The McCaskies don't spend $200 million to not do something. But the federal bailout thing, I mean, just to put a fine point on it, I mean, they may get some money, and that provides a Band-Aid for a short period of time. I hope they don't. I hope that House Republicans redline these big cities that are demanding cash because they can't finance the policies that they advance. But it's not going to be the sort of dollars that the city or the state of Illinois needs for the unfunded obligations it's throwing off on a real-time basis.
See, this is the part where I might disagree with you. And it depends on who, of course, wins in these next elections. But we just saw an election last week where the MMTers and anyone on the left, in my mind now, is an MMTer. And I just think that what 5 states had the worst COVID and the worst COVID mitigation? Well, they happen to be the 5 states that needed the most money from the federal government because of their profligate spending and their unfunded pensions. And we got approximately, if you account for it, as you know, $200 billion during that whole nonsensical period in our time. So I don't see why you don't think, because I think they want, I think they want to spend money just to spend money.
Well, I understand, but the COVID thing doesn't work because Ron DeSantis or Henry McMaster is not banging his tin cup on the rails in Congress saying, I need more money for this and I need more money for that. What they're going to say, and the politicians in those states, including their congressional delegations, is the hell that you're sending my money to Chicago or to New York City to bail out sanctuary city, sanctuary state politicians, or to Illinois to bail out unfunded public sector pensions. You're not going to do that. The difference with COVID is everybody on a per capita basis got the distribution. Well, that's not what you're talking about. I don't even know if the federal government could print enough money to do the same thing for unfunded liabilities like pensions on a state-by-state basis the way they did COVID.
No, and I like what you're saying, and I don't fully disagree, too. But remember also, and by the way, this isn't the theory I'm putting forth here. This is what they told us they were going to do, and then this is what they did. And I'm talking about the inflation that they intentionally caused. They fully realized that the amount of debt all these states have, and particularly when you talk about the unfunded pensions, the only way out of it is to devalue the currency, to pump tons of money into the system, create inflation, and then start to grab tax revenue on every inflated transaction that happens in the city. That's economists have known that for years. The way, if you want to encourage people to
inflate your way out,
money, you have to print your way out. So I think that they actually think the government, and this is so funny where the Fed started fighting inflation at the same time government tried to spur inflation over the last 2.5 years. It's just something that's like beating our head against the wall. They spend lots of money. I hope you're right, but it's interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, speaking of that, inflation. So we had the market, experience exhilaration yesterday because the inflation number came in cooler than expected. So we're going to see the market continue to run up through the rest of the year until we get new inflation numbers. Where the talk now is, I read in the Journal this morning, it's that soft landing is coming into focus.
I love how we segued seamlessly to inflation. We're getting good at this thing. But anyway, the number comes out yesterday. So first of all, the whole look at it from the 35,000-foot view. These numbers are nonsense, and the calculations that go into them are complete nonsense. That doesn't matter because if the Fed believes them, they will then base their hiking cycle or their easing cycle on those numbers. So, all the market participants don't know. There was just such weird anomalies in the data yesterday. Like, it said that there was a 35% decrease in healthcare costs. Well, you didn't have a 35% decrease in your healthcare costs, did you? So anyway, there's weird parts of the calculation. But the Fed, are they going to stop their hiking cycle? Yes. Are risk assets like stocks going to benefit from that? I certainly believe that's the case. My base case right now is that the economy is deteriorating. I think this quarter up until the holidays is going to look really good. A lot of unions negotiated new contracts, and a lot of people are feeling wealthy out there right now, and they're spending on the holidays, and they're spending on experiences. But once Q1 comes next year, I think there's going to be a massive hangover where they realize that raise they got still doesn't keep up with the inflation that was intentionally caused, and then we start to deteriorate. And I think the Fed will start easing rates by May and June, and stocks could do fine that. Remember, stocks aren't a reflection of everybody feeling good all the time. Stocks are oftentimes a reflection of how aggressive the Fed is and the government is to add liquidity. And the government's perfectly willing. I've just gone on a huge rant. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's good. No, it's helpful. And one thing I want to get one more review from you on something Chicago-based, because when we're talking about inflating our way out and taxing financial transactions, is there any more scuttlebutt, since this is your universe, about the exchanges pulling up stakes in Chicago?
An unnamed CEO of one of the exchanges made it very clear that there would be, if there was a hint of a financial transaction tax, which, by the way, the reason we're the futures center of the world is because of how cheaply and inexpensively people could leverage with futures contracts. If you take that away, it takes the business away. The exchange would move in literally 10 minutes. I think they've already set it up that if any sort of transaction tax, because an average contract size of a futures contract, let's say, is $300,000. People who don't understand the business will be like, oh, well, what's 10 cents on $300,000? No, the whole point of it, and the whole point that was in this city, is because we made it very cheap to move money to hedge risk, which is what the history of the futures market is to hedge risk. It's a mitigation strategy. And if they take that away, they'll be gone in Indiana or in Florida in 10 minutes. So I think that President Johnson realizes that.
Is there any other scenario, if there was not a financial transaction tax, is there any other scenario under which the exchanges would move?
See, that part I don't know. I can't assess. I don't want to get in trouble with my friends, too, so I don't know.
Very good.
Okay, so now I'll just give an opinion.
Okay.
I certainly think it's been knocked around. I mean, it's not a very hospitable city sometimes, and they keep looking at you
we've
like
heard.
you're the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, I have a small business, like you said, and anybody who thinks that the government, whose one of their primary functions should be to help businesses have the tools they need to succeed, that ship has sailed a long time ago. They come after businesses. They act like we're the evil empire. Anytime you make a buck, it's their buck until proven otherwise. Oh, you guys got me going this morning. This is fun.
Jim Urio, host of the Future's Edge podcast, proprietor of Brant's in Palatine. Jim, thanks as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It happens every year. Winter. Delivering and receiving supplies and getting people where they need to go can be impossible. Keeping your business doors and gates working properly to keep out the extreme weather is a major concern. Your business can't afford a loss of income or productivity. Think ahead this winter and call Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. for your commercial door maintenance and security tune-up now. You can't always plan when your doors break down, and it always seems to come at the least convenient time. Industrial Door Company will ensure your doors, grills, gates, and dock equipment are working to specification and give you advice on how to increase the life of your doors. Go online to see a range of products and services at industrialdoor.com. Call anytime, 847-258-5620. Their team will be there before the extreme cold weather causes financial losses for your company and assist in your time of need. Since 1982, the Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. takes care of your doors so you can take care of business.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
Hi, my name is Peg. I'm a wife, mother, and grandmother. Family is so important to me, and I want to stay healthy so that I can continue to do the things that I enjoy doing with all of them. I would recommend Balance of Nature. It's so easy to do every day. I feel great, and who doesn't want to feel great?
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hey all, Jim Carr here. I am the owner of Carr Machine and Tool in Elk Grove Village and loyal customer of Signature Bank. As a second-generation owner, I knew I had to shift from operating as an old-school machine shop to what I can proudly say is now one of the fastest-growing aerospace manufacturing facilities in the region. Signature Bank was there every step of the way through our expansion efforts, including financing our new state-of-the-art facility. Their valuable industry expertise and constant communication throughout the construction process made our vision possible. Many thanks to Signature Bank for supporting Carr Machine and Tool. You set the bar high for other banks.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Do you have a home remodeling project you'd love to get done? This is your opportunity to lock in this year's pricing with Chicago's Design Build Dream Team. Forever Remodeling is now offering exceptional savings. Simply sign on by December 31st to avoid any price increases next year. At Forever Remodeling, their expert designers and installers will turn your dreams into reality. Act now and you'll not only protect yourself from future price increases, but also beat the rush and secure a preferred spot in their schedule. Call 847-809-3355 or visit foreverremodeling.com. Highly skilled to design and build.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 7:07, the Consul General of Israel to the Midwest joins us to talk about the war in Gaza.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
The city council expected to vote on Mayor Brandon Johnson's first budget. A man charged with attacking a woman along the Mag Mile. Number 23, Illinois falls to number 5, Marquette in college hoops. And WIND, Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Cooperation and confrontation. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Biden meets with China's President Xi today face-to-face for the first time in more than a year. And the Biden administration's goal, we're told, is to improve strained relations and press China on areas of disagreement like trade, human rights, and its growing alliance with Iran.
The headlines have been dominated by military matters, spy balloons, near misses, and maneuvers around Taiwan. But President Xi really wants to boost his country's economy. Experts say one key objective of Xi's visit to California is to lure back foreign investors. He may also ask President Biden to end Trump-era trade tariffs and make it easier for Chinese firms to import American tech supplies.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Israeli troops have entered a hospital in Gaza looking for Hamas terrorists, using the hospital grounds, according to U.S. and Israeli intelligence, as a base of operations. Hundreds of patients, including newborns, have been stranded there. We'll see if today is as hot-tempered at the Capitol as it was yesterday. Oklahoma Republican Markwayne Mullin challenged Teamsters Union President Sean O'Brien at a hearing to a fight on the Senate floor over attacks on social media.
At some point, you got to put them in their place.
Senator Mullin on Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon. Tennessee House Republican Tim Burchett accuses former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy of elbowing him in the kidneys in the Capitol hallway.
I don't know why he did it. I'm afraid it's just a sad asterisk on the end of his career. I mean, as he spirals out of control. That's what I think.
McCarthy denies it. Burchett was one of 8 Republicans voting to remove him as Speaker. And Florida Democrat Jared Moskowitz and Oklahoma Republican James Comer got into a heated argument during a House hearing over Comer's fraud accusations against the Biden family. A vigil in Ohio for 3 high school students, 2 teachers, and a chaperone killed in a multi-vehicle highway crash involving their charter bus.
Students who were bright lights, full of life, and who lost their lives way too young.
America's listening to Fox News.
44 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities in McHenry County are asking residents near Johnsburg to shelter in place this morning. McHenry County Sheriff's Office said there's heavy police presence in the area of Hamlin Drive and Fillmore Road. Sheriff's Police confirmed through social media that shots were fired near that residence. Chicago aldermen are expected to vote today on Mayor Brandon Johnson's first budget. As the mayor welcomed a new police recruits yesterday, budget insiders confirmed the spending plan doubles staffing for non-police 911 response teams and reopens 2 mental health clinics.
Thank you all for answering the call to serve. This is a great day for you and for the city of Chicago. Our entire city is strengthened by every single one of you who has dedicated your life to this career.
But WirePoint's commentator Ted Dabrowski says the budget does nothing to solve Chicago's soaring crime problem or slumping morale and dropping numbers in the ranks of Chicago police.
So you get the police able to do policing freely and with confidence. I think we're going to have a big problem, especially with the continued lack of support that they've seen from Chicago leaders and others.
While Chicago has seen murders drop by 10% in 2023, other major crimes have significantly increased. A second investigation is underway after a second vehicle was stolen this month from a family in Chicago's Beverly neighborhood. The second incident took place yesterday morning when that vehicle was taken from the home. 2 suspects were arrested last night in connection with those thefts. A man is accused of attacking a woman along Chicago's Magnificent Mile. Police say the suspect threw a heavy object at the victim's head Monday in the 600 block of North Michigan Avenue. Authorities arrested Bruce Diamond, who's been charged with 1 felony count of aggravated battery. Chicago sports. Illinois falters down the stretch in a 71-64 loss to number 5 Marquette last night.
Give them credit. We're a really good basketball team. They were better tonight. And take your hat off to them, and they made plays down the stretch. And we've got to continue to grow with our chemistry and our togetherness and development, and take your hat off to Marquette tonight.
Illini coach Brad Underwood. Northwestern survives a scare from Western Michigan in a hoops win, 63-59. College football, Ontario Brown ran for 2 scores. Northern Illinois kept its postseason hopes alive with a commanding 24-0 win over Western Michigan. The news service of StarCase. When you need to protect your valuable equipment, put it in a StarCase, the most dependable road cases you can buy. designed and made right here in the Midwest. Go to starcase.com to order your case now. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains how the left lies.
Everything with regard to the left is a tree that falls in the forest, but nobody hears it. But it's not a tree. An entire forest of trees fall down. And what? What tree? What forest? Conspiracy theory.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you a driver of a Ford PowerStroke diesel engine? Tired of taking your Ford PowerStroke diesel in to be misdiagnosed or paying for repairs that don't fix the problem? Well, bring your vehicle to the diesel headquarters, Remke's Garage. The shop is equipped with state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment and highly trained technicians. Take it to the experts. Take it to Remke's Garage. Remke's Garage specializes in Ford PowerStroke, Chevy Duramax, Dodge Cummins, Mercedes Sprinter, and Isuzu diesel engines and transmission repairs. At Remke's, they'll make your vehicle repairs convenient by offering a free commercial loaner vehicle.
Remke's Garage, where you won't spend $1,000 to fix a $100 problem. Call for details and to schedule an appointment at 800-5-REMKES or visit Remke'sGarage.com. Remke's Garage, your diesel headquarters.
You want a killer Black Friday deal? Get a free Moto 5G phone when you sign up for Pure Talk's unlimited talk, unlimited text, and 15 gig data plan for just $35 a month. Just dial pound 250 and say keyword SAVE NOW to get this exclusive offer and to select the plan that's right for your family. Pure Talk gives you America's most dependable 5G network at half the price. Dial pound 250 and say keyword SAVE NOW to claim your free Moto 5G phone with qualifying plan.
With the holidays upon us, the increase in traveling, shopping, and connecting online also heightens the need to protect your identity and finances with LifeLock. Identity thieves see this time of year as an opportunity to drain your accounts, open new loans in your name, and damage your financial future. LifeLock detects and alerts you to the threats you might miss on your own. Don't let the busy holiday season catch you off guard. Save up to 25% off your first year with promo code CLAY. LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
My name is Ruthie. I love helping people. There's so many people that are down. Sometimes all it takes is a piece of pie to make the sunshine come in their life again. And with the help of Balance of Nature, it's making it more fun and giving me more energy. And I would really like to thank Balance of Nature. These are mine for life.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
.708, worried about basement flooding? Time to call Permaseal Basement Systems, 800-421-7325. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Inbound Edens, 35, Lake Cook Road to the junction, the Kennedy. It's an hour and 12 minutes. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Ike right now inbound, it's an hour 390 into the old post office. Stevenson settling in at about 55 minutes, 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan, 37 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Lots of sun, warm day today, the high at 64. Clear, chilly night tonight, low 45. Clouds and warm, breezy day tomorrow, the high at 65. Morning shower on Friday, otherwise clouds and sun, much cooler. The high Friday, only 48. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
44 at O'Hare. Your next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So the news out of Israel is the Israelis have carried out, or in the process of carrying out, a target operation inside Gaza's largest hospital. This is Al-Shifa. And it seems fairly clear, not just with respect to current intelligence, but with respect to years of intelligence, that Hamas used the hotel as a base camp. In fact, as the Wall Street Journal editorial board opines, Hamas has used the hospital at least since 2006, when a PBS documentary showed terrorists roaming its halls and cordoning off wings. Even Human Rights Watch admitted in 2007 that Hamas had fired at Fatah, its Palestinian rival, from within the hospital. In the 2008-2009 war, Hamas leaders hid in a bunker under the hospital. The New York Times wrote that Hamas openly operated in the halls. In the 2014 war, the Washington Post reported that Shifa was a Hamas de facto headquarters. Quote, Amnesty International found that Hamas tortured prisoners on hospital grounds. So it shouldn't surprise anyone when yesterday NSC spokeswoman John Kirby said
finally admitted the truth.
Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad members operate a command and control node from Al-Shifa in Gaza City. So when President Biden was asked about it, how could he say what he said?
Well, I have not been reluctant in expressing my concerns what's going on. And it's my hope and expectation that there will be less intrusive action relative to the hospital. The hospital must be protected.
What does that mean? Against the weight of all of this evidence over many, many moons, including the current one. It's baffling. I mean, I understand that the Israelis need to sort of keep up appearances and appreciate what America is providing and at least some of what the president has said. But I mean, good grief. How much confidence does that inspire?
0 to none. And think just right after the attack, he worked 2 half days. President Biden did.
Yinam Cohen is the Consul General of Israel to the Midwest. Consul General Cohen, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
So I understand we have to be diplomatic, but I mean, can you understand my confusion over what we know versus what the president said?
As you mentioned, we have for years information about the fact that Hamas uses not only the Shifa hospital, by the way, but also other hospitals in the Gaza Strip as a hideout for their military operations. They have constructed a very extensive network of tunnels underneath these hospitals to conceal their top leadership, their headquarters, ammunition, and according to the information that we have now, and that was also shared yesterday by the White House and the Pentagon, they're probably also hiding some of the hostages in the tunnels underneath this hospital. This is why the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, went out yesterday for, a very targeted operation in a very precise section of the hospital, following intelligence that we had, with the hope to not only dismantle and eliminate Hamas leadership and operatives, but also to be able to find some clues regarding the hostages. Let me remind you that just a few days ago, in another hospital, the Rantisi Children's Hospital in the northern part of the Gaza Strip, our forces found underground tunnels with a lot of evidence that some of the hostages had been held there before our troops arrived They didn't find, unfortunately, they weren't able to rescue hostages because they weren't there. But we had a lot of information, a lot of proof that the hostages were held there. There were bottles of babies, women clothes, and so on. So it is clear evidence that hostages were held by Hamas underneath hospitals. And this is exactly what we're trying to find out right now.
Well, what about, they keep showing pictures of the premature babies that are in that hospital. And, but the Israeli government, they have portable incubators that they're ready to take those babies in to get them out of there. But Hamas is not letting them out. Is that correct?
It is true. Our operation is, of course, against the Hamas operatives and leadership, and not against, the people that are hospitalized in this hospital. As you said, Israel brought not only incubators into the Gaza Strip, but also medical experts who speak Arabic, by the way, so that they could support the people that really need help in the hospitals while our soldiers are fighting Hamas leadership. And as you said, in many cases, Hamas is not protecting the Palestinian people. Hamas is interested in killing Jews, in killing Israelis. So they not only not letting people out, they're also shooting, and we have infinite indications for that. They're shooting at people who are trying to use the humanitarian corridors that Israel created and to evacuate from the war zone.
So how did this incursion yesterday go? I mean, what can you tell us about what occurred, consistent with what the objective was?
As you mentioned before, it is still ongoing, so I don't have full information. But what I can confirm at this moment is that both Hamas ammunition was found. Hamas operatives that tried to, shoot at our soldiers were eliminated. We're talking about, operatives that were inside the hospital, of course. And unfortunately, up until now, no hostages were found, but our forces are continuing the operation. And I want to remind you, we're not talking about, just a small tunnel. We're talking about an extensive network of up to 500 kilometers underground tunnels. This is where the money of the international humanitarian aid throughout the years went for. It didn't go to the benefit of the Palestinians in Gaza. It went for the construction of the probably most extensive underground construction in the world. And this is what we're trying to fight right now.
Is there any early indication about patients from the hospital that were essentially rescued by the Israelis and are being cared for? You mentioned the medical professionals that are embedded, I suppose, or any other information that has been gleaned that would aid in identifying where hostages are?
There's regarding the patients, yes, and moreover, I would say Israel is ready also to take to our territory in some cases, people that are hospitalized there in severe conditions, just to make sure that they get the treatment that they need. Regarding the hostages, let me just quote the spokesperson of the Israeli Defense Forces. As time goes by, we have more and more intelligence about some of the hostages and some of the conditions that they're in. Of course, I don't have this information. It is better, it should remain a secret, but I hope that both through intelligence and the military operations we'll be able to rescue some of the hostages.
What did you take of the March for Israel yesterday in D.C.? I mean, you had tens of thousands. They were saying 300,000 people. You had Hollywood stars. You had politicians both on the left and the right at the event. Did that give you any hope?
It gives me a lot of hope because I think this march yesterday, as you said, 300,000 people, one of the biggest in DC's history, definitely the biggest for support for Israel in many decades, which brought together, people from the East Coast, West Coast, Chicago, the Midwest, the South. It was pretty amazing, and I think that this march really reflects the true American spirit. Because, as you said, you had the Speaker of the House, but also the minority leader, the majority leader of the Senate, Hollywood stars, Muslims for peace in the Middle East, a lot of Jewish and non-Jewish friends of Israel. This is a true spirit. And, people sometimes get confused because they see, I would say, fringe fringe groups that march with a lot of hate. Also here in the streets of Chicago, they do not represent the true American spirit. We see all the polls. I mean, more than 80% of the Americans stand with Israel. And I think that the march yesterday really represents this vast majority of Americans who support Israel, who understand that we share the same values, and who chose to stand in the right side of history.
I know there's some tiptoeing around politicians that needs to be done, but maybe not New York Times columnists. I want you to react to what Jonathan Capehart, who's a columnist for the New York Times and a commentator on PBS and MSNBC, what he had to say about Israel's right to defend itself.
No reoccupation of Gaza, no reduction in the territory of Gaza, no forcible displacement of Palestinians, and Gaza should never be allowed to be used as a base for terrorist attacks against Israel or anyone else. Those are the simple principles that we are standing behind as we look to the future, and we will work with all of our partners, with the Israelis, with countries in the Arab world, and especially with the Palestinians, so that they can have a voice in what the future governance of both the West Bank and Gaza look like.
That's not it. But what he said was that Israel must, and I'm quoting him, must defend itself, but do so in a manner becoming of a democracy. That phrase, in a manner becoming of democracy, necessarily insinuates that there's either some evidence that Israel is not, he believes, or that he's worried that Israel won't. How do you react to that?
Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. Israel operates in a very complicated situation against the terrorist organizations that hide behind civilians, as we said, including in hospitals, but not only in hospitals, also in school and other civilian infrastructure. I'm really open to criticism. It is important. It's part of our democratic fabric. I would only say that he's probably not the first commentator on MSNBC that criticizes Israel. I prefer to get some criticism at MSNBC and defend our people rather than have 1,400 Israelis killed and get praised by MSNBC.
Yeah, that seems to be a sensible position. Yinam Cohen is the Consul General of Israel to the Midwest. Consul General Cohen, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
You've heard me talk about my love of coffee over and over again. I'm here to tell you I have discovered one of the best brews I've ever tasted, and a company that I cannot wait to support. I'm here to tell you about Bone Frog Coffee. The Bone Frog is a sacred symbol in the SEAL teams. It honors those that gave the ultimate sacrifice, their lives. Bone Frog was founded by Tim Crook Shank, a former Navy SEAL and 25-year Navy veteran. Bone Frog honors the fallen, those who gave everything for our freedoms and our American way of life, by giving 10% of all the proceeds to benefit many of the U.S. Navy SEAL foundations. Here's what I need you to do. Go to bonefrogcoffee.com/liberty. Get 10% off your first order. You will also get 15% off Bone Frog Coffee subscriptions. Just enter Liberty at checkout. Go to bonefrogcoffee.com/liberty. That's bonefrogcoffee.com/liberty. Taste one of the best brews you ever tasted. 10% of the proceeds go to benefit the Navy SEALs. You'll feel good. It's an American company. Go to bonefrogcoffee.com/liberty.
Hey there, are you feeling the sting of cold floors when you step off the couch or out of bed? It's that time of the year, but Permaseal has the permanent solution for you. And from now until November 30th, you will receive $100 off PermaFoam insulation. Insulating your basement and crawl space is the most effective and worthwhile way to solve your cold floor problems. And untreated crawl space can rot your floor joists, breed mold, and increase your energy costs. For over 40 years of Permaseal's November promotion, $100 off any new estimate for PermaFoam. 800-421-7325 or visit permaseal.net.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen.
Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
It's getting cold again, and the best way to keep yourself warm this winter, it's 2 words, Heat Holders. Heat Holders makes the warmest thermal socks that exist. They keep your feet 7 times warmer than regular cotton socks. Heat Holders uses their proprietary 3-stage process involving advanced insulating yarns, intense brushing, and long loops, resulting in socks that combine warmth, softness, and comfort. Heat Holders is like a thermostat for your feet, keeping your feet warm, comfortable, and dry. They also make the best-in-class hats, gloves, throws, and more. Give Heat Holders this season. Go to heatholders.com and use the code DENNIS and save 15% off your order. Receive free shipping with any purchase of $25 or more. Don't freeze this winter. Go to heatholders.com, heatholders.com with the code DENNIS. Go to heatholders.com today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
My name is Ruthie. I love helping people. There's so many people that are down. Sometimes all it takes is a piece of pie to make the sunshine come in their life again. And with the help of Balance of Nature, it's making it more fun and giving me more energy. And I would really like to thank Balance of Nature. These are mine for life.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Raj Shah, host of Unleash Your Wealth.
There are a lot of clients and people coming in from the radio into our office saying, I don't want to lose any money. I need to protect the money I have saved over the last 20 or 30 years, where you have strategies where you can structure an income stream where it has an inflation protection so that as inflation, if it continues to go up, your income will go up.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
So last night, I've been waiting to hear from the Americans whose loved ones are being held hostage by Hamas. And shame on me, because a lot of them don't have family members left because they were killed. 3-year-old Abigail, her great aunt was speaking on her behalf with Lester Holt.
My name is Liz Hirsch-Naftali, and I am the grand aunt of Abigail Mor Idan, and she's 3 years old, and she was abducted from Kibbutz Kfar Aza after her parents were both murdered.
3-year-old Abigail saw her mother killed, then her father, too.
Abigail was in her father's arms, and as they ran, a terrorist shot him and killed him. And he fell onto Abigail.
Abigail's 6- and 10-year-old siblings somehow got away. They saw her hiding under their dad, And then
Abigail actually had crawled out from under her father's body. And full of his blood, went to a neighbor and they took her in.
later, Abigail and the neighbors were kidnapped.
The last thing we learned was that somebody saw the terrorist taking this mother, her 3 kids, and Abigail out of the kibbutz. And that's all we know.
I don't want people to forget them, because 8 American families have loved ones that are still being held hostage. And you could just see just how exhausted they are. One lady's like, I have not been able to sleep. Another is, I can't eat. The fathers were there too. And Rachel Goldberg, whose son Hirsch, he did spend some time in Chicago area. He was at the concert, and she said that this is worse than a kidnapping and much more.
I feel like kidnapped is not the right word. It's so much worse than that. When our son is dancing at a music festival, has his arm blown off, and is taken, all of us together, our children, our loved ones, our American citizens who were wrongfully taken from where they were and for 39 days have been somewhere in Gaza.
So please keep them in your thoughts and prayers, because this is far from over. And all the families met with President Biden yesterday, and they didn't disclose what was communicated, but they're holding on to hope. So coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer
at 7:37, Nikki Haley versus Bernie Marcus. That is 7:37.
But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
43 degrees at 7:30. President Biden, ahead of his highly anticipated meeting with the Chinese President Xi Jinping, will participate in the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit later today. The House has passed a stopgap bill preventing a government shutdown. Speaker Mike Johnson.
We just had to get the job done. We'll do it day by day.
House until Tuesday voted in favor of a Republican plan funding some departments until mid-January, the rest through early February at current spending. 6 are dead, 18 more injured after a crash involving a charter bus carrying high school students in Ohio. Governor Mike DeWine.
Our hearts go out, our prayers to all the families, all those who were on the bus, everyone who was involved in the accident.
The Ohio State Patrol saying the crash happened Tuesday morning on I-70 east of Columbus. A man has been arrested in the death of a professional hockey player from Minnesota, fatally injured in a game in England. Here's our Mark Mayfield.
Adam Johnson died last month after another player's skate cut his neck in what was called a freak accident. The South Yorkshire police announced on Tuesday that a man has been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter in connection with Johnson's death. Johnson was playing for the Nottingham Panthers in the UK Elite League at the time of the incident. Previously, he played for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the NHL for parts of 2 seasons. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Authorities in McHenry County are asking residents near Johnsburg to shelter in place this morning. McHenry County Sheriff says there's a heavy police presence in the area of Hamlin Drive and Fillmore Road after shots were fired. Chicago aldermen are expected to vote today on Mayor Brandon Johnson's first budget. It's a proposed $16.6 billion spending plan. As the mayor welcomed new police recruits yesterday, budget insiders confirm the spending plan doubles staffing for non-police 911 response teams.
Thank you all for answering the call to serve. This is a great day for you and for the city of Chicago. Our entire city is strengthened by every single one of you who has dedicated your life to this career.
But Wirepoint's commentator Ted Dabrowski says the budget does nothing to solve Chicago's soaring crime problems or slumping morale and dropping numbers in the ranks of Chicago police. About 2 hours ago, northern Illinois shook. It was an earthquake, 3.6 magnitude, about 4.5 kilometers deep near the town of Granville, Illinois. Police in Ottawa and Peru nearby say they're not seeing any reports of damage. Chicago sports, number 23 Illinois falters down the stretch in a 71-64 loss to number 5 Marquette. Last night, Northwestern beat Western Michigan, DePaul over South Dakota, and UIC took down Loyola. The Bulls will try to get back in the win column tonight when they host Orlando. The news service of Salem Surround. Go to surroundchicago.com today. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk sees another side of the latest polls.
Voters in 5 battleground states favor Trump over Biden. Before I go any further, it's very clear. This here in the New York Times, this is a hit on Biden more than a benefit to Trump. I partially believe this poll, but this here is yet another example of the regime, the administrative state, trying to remove Joe Biden.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Be sure to schedule your health assessment with my friends at Low T Center. They offer the convenience of physician-monitored, self-inject, at-home testosterone treatments with an average payment of $150 a month cash pay, including labs and medication. If you don't live near a Low T Center or just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy shipping treatments directly to you. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. That's Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Thanksgiving is right around the corner, a true feast for the senses. And this year, there's even more to be thankful for. This year, I discovered something that's been a game changer for my health. 120 Life juice drink. But it's not just their amazing juice that keeps my blood pressure in check. Now they offer a new powdered version of 120 Life, making it easier than ever to take control of my health on the go and while I'm traveling. It's the same great taste, the same natural ingredients, the same heart-healthy benefits as the juice, but now in a convenient powdered form. This Thanksgiving, amidst the laughter, the joy, and the chaos, I'm grateful for my health and for discovering 120 Life, the natural solution for high blood pressure. I want you to try it. Order a 2-week trial pack today, and if it's not for you, you get your money back, and that's guaranteed. Order now, the juice drink or the powdered mix. Visit 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Coupon code LIBERTY saves you 15%. Order now. You'll be thankful you did. Here's to a healthy, happy holiday season from my friends at 120 Life.
The White House wants you to think our financial system is stable, but the truth is recent data from the FDIC reveals another 53 banks could soon collapse, just like Silicon Valley Bank. This could crush the savings of millions of Americans, sending shockwaves through the economy. Hi, I'm Stephen K. Bannon, former chief strategist to President Trump, and today I want to urge you to diversify your IRA or 401k into a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Precious metals have 5,000 years of history in preserving wealth, making them one of the best places for your retirement savings. To find out more, get a free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold Group by texting the word HEDGE to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. So text HEDGE to the number 989898. That's HEDGE to 989898 to get your free info kit. There's no obligation or purchase required.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave. Don't treat yourself like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, and we'll start on the Tri-State disabled vehicle right lane block northbound between the Stevenson and I-88. The Reagan itself, I-88, stop and go between Route 83 and the Tri-State. The Veterans jams up northbound between 143rd, that's near Archer Avenue, and the Reagan I-88. 8094 accident eastbound between Broadway and I-65. Bolingbrook, a bad accident, Joliet Road and International Parkway. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Sunshine and warm, 64 today, clear 45 overnight. Increasing clouds tomorrow and a high of 65. 43 right now. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says, reportedly, that Nikki Haley is the best person to save America's struggling economy. We need an accountant in the White House. Diamond has reportedly had a series of informal phone calls with Haley as a sign of growing enthusiasm for her candidacy. And that also includes Citadel CEO Ken Griffin, who is reportedly, well, he said, at the finish line, quote unquote, of deciding whether or not to financially support Nikki Haley after having donated $5 million to the DeSantis effort. That's a decision we're actively contemplating. I mean, we're at the finish line on that choice, yes or no. Dumping DeSantis for Haley, possibly Ken Griffin, Jamie Dimon. Nikki Haley is the best to resuscitate America's flailing economy, burdened by the weight of Bidenomics, which is to say, industrial policy. Well, Bernie Marcus, we mentioned this before because he wrote an op-ed. Bernie Marcus, the Home Depot co-founder, has come around to a different conclusion, not where he started, but where he is now. Bernie Marcus was on with Kudlow the other day, and he said this about his choice.
I'm a Republican, but I'm an American first. I'm the original great story in America. Grew up in Newark, New Jersey, in a tenement, poor as hell, and had no money. My family had no money. And look where I am today. It could only have happened in America. And frankly, it could only happen under the system that we have, which is the system of free enterprise and capitalism. And I've watched this guy in the White House. I mean, I can't believe what he does every day. I get up in the morning and I say, what the hell did he do today that's going to destroy America? And he never fails to surprise me. He always comes up with something. And it's never good. I don't know who the hell his advisors are. I don't have a clue. But he's supposed to represent all the people in America, and he doesn't. The poor people and the people that continuously vote that way, which is incredible to me how that happens. But I see them in this last election prove that maybe the American people aren't that smart, that maybe they're not going to bail us out. And the only one out there that I know has the experience to fix things. That's what he does. He fixes things. Now, you may not like what he says. He pisses off a lot of people. Every time he opens his mouth between the Air Force One and a helicopter, he says something that irritates somebody. But the truth of the matter is that if we don't change the government in this next 24 election, this country is dead. I've never said that before.
And look,
I don't see any way out.
So obviously Marcus was commenting on the incumbent president first and Trump second. Billionaires divided. Oh, why can't billionaires get along? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Trump versus Haley. I'm not counting DeSantis out of the race yet. He's going to be around for a while, at least. But, I mean, certainly to the early states. But it is interesting that some of those financiers who had high hopes for DeSantis have been shaken, and it is starting to crystallize into, I mean, it's certainly crystallized into a three-person race, and it could happen more quickly than anticipated, a two-person race.
Well, some things that people don't like, Nikki Haley, she said that anonymous social media posts are a national security threat.
Yeah, well, this is her with Harris Faulkner yesterday addressing that matter. And the censorship issue is a big one. And as we've been talking about in this show, it's not getting enough discussion, the censorship industrial complex, as we term it, within Republican ranks generally. It needs to. And This is my concern with one of my concerns with Nikki Haley. She's one of those Republicans that thinks the solution to improper government engagement is more government engagement.
When I get into office, the first thing we have to do, social media accounts, social media companies, they have to show America their algorithms. Let us see why they're pushing what they're pushing. The second thing is every person on social media should be verified by their name. That's, first of all, it's a national security threat. When you do that, all of a sudden people have to stand by what they say, and it gets rid of the Russian bots, the Iranian bots, and the Chinese bots. And then you're going to get some civility when people know their name is next to what they say.
Accountability.
And they know their pastor and their family member is going to see it. It's going to help our kids, and it's going to help our country.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. This is from my friend Amy. Nikki Haley has lost her damn mind. Very few conservative minorities in blue cities or states would be on social media at all if we couldn't be anonymous. It's hell out here being a black conservative. She's so freaking out of touch with real life. It's embarrassing. She sounds like Governor Hochul of New York.
Yeah, I'd hate to lose all my trolls. Everybody has to disclose their name, and the government is going to do the verification, or the government is going to come up with a legal regime that social media companies have to comply with in order to ensure identification. Really? She does sound like Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, because here's what Kathy Hochul is talking about in New York State.
Also, we're very focused on the data we're collecting from surveillance efforts, what's being said on social media platforms. And we have launched an effort to be able to counter some of the negativity and reach out to people when we see hate speech being spoken about on online platforms. Our media analysis, our social media analysis unit has ramped up its monitoring of sites to catch incitement to violence, direct threats to others. And all this is in response to our desire, our strong commitment to ensure that not only do New Yorkers be safe, but they also feel safe. Because personal security is about everything for them. As I said, no one walking down the street or in a subway should feel they have to hide any indications of what their religious beliefs are. We expect to see people celebrating their lives, walking about freely, and that is no longer the case because people are living in fear. They have a right to do whatever they want here in the state of New York.
Right to do whatever they want. Yeah, that's sort of part of the problem. But this is how it's going to be sold. You heard both Kathy Hochul and Nikki Haley use the same vernacular. Keeping people safe. National security. Personal security. They're going to sell censorship. They're going to sell unconstitutional restrictions on your right of free expression by providing safety. It's going to be safe. We're going to eliminate hate.
Yeah, well, hate speech. What hate speech is what one determines as hate speech. I hate that. Hate speech, hate crimes, all of it.
So
who's going to be on the hate speech police?
So even just setting aside the constitutionality or unconstitutionality of maybe what's already going on in New York, as well as what Nikki Haley is saying, I don't want the government deeper into regulating the internet than it already is. Regulating speech and thought in private interactions than it already is and has been. That is a red line for me. And it should be for conservatives who want to live in a free society. It sounds all well-meaning. You know, we're going to take it to the keyboard warriors. We're going to, Russian bots. And you know what? The $100,000 Russian Facebook campaign in 2016 isn't what put Trump in the White House, okay? people can make their own determination. Stop trying to keep me safe from the untoward word or the fraudulent account. Really. Because this is where it goes. What the Biden administration is already doing, thanks to Brendan Carr, who's an FCC commissioner, raising this flag, this warning. FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr addressing the digital equity plan for all internet services and infrastructure. Because the broadband policies are failing, Brendan Carr argues, and the costs of building internet infrastructure in the country have skyrocketed. While the FCC has been looking to expand new 5G services, it has needlessly blocked, delayed new broadband infrastructure builds because of regulatory red tape. So now what the Biden administration is doing is blaming the private sector and free enterprise for the administration's policy shortfalls. Of course they are. And is pushing the FCC to adopt a one-page section of the Infrastructure Act, the one that was passed with 19 Republicans voting yes in the Senate. One-page section of the Infrastructure Act. For the first time ever, says Brendan Carr, those rules would give the federal government a roving mandate to micromanage nearly every aspect of how the internet functions, from how internet services providers allocate capital and where they build, to the services that consumers can purchase, from the profits that ISPs can realize, and how they market and advertise services, to the discounts and promotions that consumers can receive. Talk about central planning. If passed, the FCC would be empowered for the first time to regulate every ISP service termination terms, use of customer credit, account history, credit checks, account termination, and many other items. There is no path to complying with this standardless regime, said Carr. It reads like a planning document drawn up in the faculty lounge of the university's Soviet Studies department. And Nikki Haley just wants to manage it her way. The federal government to manage it her way. That is a difference in degree, not kind. I mean, this should be a throwdown issue for Republicans.
Yeah, and especially at the next debate, Ron DeSantis better bring it up.
Greg in Schaumburg.
You just stole my thunder, Dan. While I was on hold, I was saying this is great. When the government goes crypto or something that's digitally based and they can therefore control everything, they will know exactly who to go after. It's already happened in China. If you read anything about what's going on in China, there's groups of people that, on any given day can have their entire lives turned around by the government's computer systems sitting or switching. They're in the society or they're out. A horrible idea.
Thanks for the call, Greg.
Somebody texted in, watch this. The moment Nikki Haley's 2024 presidential campaign went down the toilet.
Well, and also, too, I mean, we talked about this a bit the other day, these middleware operators like NewsGuard, which we've talked about, which we don't know yet. I had this conversation with Mike Benz, that former State Department official who founded the Foundation for Freedom Online. So that'll be in a forthcoming podcast of mine, our discussion. But they're right now trying to figure out how they're going to use the middleware. Will the middleware be used on the social media provider side and have, former senior level intel officers and law enforcement officials that are part of these middleware companies like NewsGuard and others they stand up, setting the terms essentially of what you can see from the provider side, from the social media provider side, that they then impose, or that it effectively is imposed because they're choosing on the provider side to put the middleware into accessing the platform. And so that's a filter of information you see and don't see. Or will it be on the consumer side where they're going to give you the impression of choice without really disclosing what you're going to see and not see, because it'll all be couched in this sort of gobbledygook language of safety and protection and anti-hate and so forth. I mean, it's serious stuff. Mike in Hammond.
Hey, Dan, thanks for taking my call. Everybody's got short memories. Back in 2001, when 9/11 happened, they created the FISA court, and look what that's turned into with the 2016 election, and then yet the Republicans will not refuse to terminate it. It's crazy.
Thanks.
This is going on the same road.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Yeah, I mean, by the way, I mean, my question to Nikki Haley is, if you were around in the run-up to the American Revolution, if you were around in the 18th century, would you have mandated the disclosure of the authors of Cato's letters? I mean, founders of this nation who operated under pseudonyms. No more pseudonyms. That's where you want to go. Just stay out of it. Stay out of it. Get out of it and get the government out of it. Verlon, Gary, Indiana.
She's worse than Hillary Clinton. She's a war hawk, and she wants to use the heavy hand of the government to watch every American. This will be the Patriot Act to the 10th power. No, man, she can't get close to the White House. I'm sorry.
Thanks for the call, Verlon.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Nick Philippus, co-owner of Joe Donut and a proud customer of Signature Bank. We're a locally owned artisan donut shop that focuses on chef-made small batch and craft donuts. We have 7 locations around the Chicagoland suburbs, with an 8th location coming soon. After opening our original stores in Glenview and Niles, we came to Signature Bank for financing for our new Mount Prospect location. From PPP and material delays in construction, Signature Bank was flexible and truly a banking partner that a small business like ours hadn't experienced before. Even their fraud department was able to stop a $30,000 fraudulent check from clearing our account. That allowed us to focus on selling donuts, knowing Signature Bank had our back.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
My name is Ruthie. I love helping people. There's so many people that are down. Sometimes all it takes is a piece of pie to make the sunshine come in their life again. And with the help of Balance of Nature, it's making it more fun and giving me more energy. And I would really like to thank Balance of Nature. These are mine for life.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Homeowners experiencing low water pressure, rusty yellow water, little to no hot water, or pressure so low that showering is difficult?
Honey, don't flush. I'm in the shower.
These are all symptoms of clogged and corroded galvanized water pipes that are filled with gunk older than you. You should see it. It's disgusting. You drink it, brush your teeth with it, and bathe in it. Yuck. For your family's sake, repipe your home with quality PEX or copper pipes from All Affordable Plumbing. We're your local, family-owned and operated repiping expert. We can repipe your home in 1 to 3 days with minimal disturbance, and we include a lifetime guarantee. And for a limited time, we're offering 12-month no-interest, no-payment financing and a free water heater. So if you have low water pressure, call for a free in-home estimate at 800-NEW-PIPE or visit allaffordable.org. That's 800-NEW-PIPE or visit allaffordable.org. If you have low water pressure, a copper repipe will get you flowing again. Call for a free estimate at 800-NEW-PIPE. That's 800-NEW-PIPE.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 8:08, we'll talk to Simone Gao, journalist and a host of a current affairs program on YouTube about President Xi's visit to San Francisco to meet with Mr. 10%. That's at 8:08.
And if you follow us on Twitter, you can see the streets of San Francisco. Tets, pee and poo are gone, and they've been replaced with Chinese flags. Today, another brilliant day of sunshine, a high of 64 degrees. It is now 8 a.m., WIND, Chicago.
A hospital raid in Gaza. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. They had it surrounded. Now Israeli troops have moved inside the Al-Shifa hospital, calling it a precise and targeted operation against Hamas in a specified area in the hospital, separate from where patients and medical staff are located. A senior Gaza Health Ministry official says those troops raided buildings housing the emergency and surgery departments, terrifying patients. Fox's Alex Hogan.
This is the largest hospital in Gaza where the IDF says today it was able to find weapons, ammunitions, and more military infrastructure inside that hospital. That is something that we've heard from the Pentagon this week, confirming that they agree, they believe that Hamas has been using some of these medical facilities as places to not only store weapons, but potentially store hostages as well. The IDF also delivered much needed supplies, health care systems, food, baby formula for those children that are still there.
In Washington, D.C., charter bus drivers are accused of calling out sick instead of taking members of a Michigan Jewish group to yesterday's March for Israel on the National Mall.
That, to me, was a malicious act.
David Kurzman with the Jewish Federation of Metropolitan Detroit. President Biden and China's President Xi meet one-on-one today, then attend an Asia-Pacific summit in San Francisco.
The president is looking with clear-cut goals in his mind about how this should go. The president saying that he wants to manage competition, find areas to get along, as well as avoid conflict with China. The Communist Party moving closer to Russia and Iran, buying record amounts of oil and making record amounts of trade with those partners. China's still stealing technology, still hacking U.S. sites. Its economy needs the U.S. investment, which has recently been moving to India and Vietnam.
Fox business correspondent Edward Lawrence. The Labor Department reports wholesale prices fell 0.5% last month, the biggest drop since April 2020. Retail sales fell for the first time since March, 0.1%, according to the Commerce Department. Dow futures are up 87 points. America's listening to Fox News.
.43 degrees and sunshine. It's 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities in McHenry County have asked residents of Johnsburg to shelter in place. McHenry County Sheriff's Office says there's a heavy police presence in the area of Hamlin Drive and Fillmore Road after shots were fired. Chicago aldermen are expected to vote today on Mayor Brandon Johnson's first budget. The proposed $16.6 billion spending plan sets aside $115 million taxpayer dollars for illegal migrants, some of whom may be attempting asylum. An investigation is underway after a second vehicle was stolen this month from a family in Beverly. Police say the first theft happened November 2nd. The second incident took place yesterday morning when a second vehicle was taken from that home. 2 suspects were arrested last night in connection with that theft. Indiana officials are lowering the boom on the president of the Chicago Teachers Union for taking what is being called an unlawful deduction. St. Joseph's county auditor in South Bend sent a letter to Stacey Davis Gates assessing her nearly $4,000 over 3 years of back taxes plus a penalty. Chicago sports. Number 23 Illinois falters down the stretch in a 71-64 loss to number 5 Marquette. Also last night on the hardwood, Northwestern beat Western Michigan. DePaul over South Dakota. UIC beat Loyola 72-67. College football, Northern Illinois blanked Western Michigan 24-0. The news service of In Grace with Pastor Jim Scudder, now heard Sunday morning at 6:30 on AM 560, The Answer. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now, the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Target shares are jumping after its earnings and revenue both came in better than expected in the summer quarter. Though sales were softer, Target says it was able to clear out unsold inventory, and its margin, how much it makes from the business, improved. More shoppers are using Target's same-day services. Demand for its drive-up order pickup rose more than 12%. Target also says it will offer more than 10,000 new items for the holidays. Berkshire Hathaway has pulled out of some investments, selling off its stakes in General Motors and Johnson & Johnson, also ending its investments in Procter & Gamble, Mondelez, and UPS. Most of Warren Buffett's investment firm is concentrated in Apple, Bank of America, American Express, Coca-Cola, and Chevron. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum puts it plainly.
People are making this idea up that innocent people dying in Gaza should be somehow a deterrent for Israel to take out Hamas. It is not, and it should not be. Israel has to take out Hamas. Enough is enough.
The Officer Tatum Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
The White House wants you to think our financial system is stable, but the truth is recent data from the FDIC reveals another 53 banks could soon collapse, just like Silicon Valley Bank. This could crush the savings of millions of Americans, sending shockwaves through the economy. Hi, I'm Stephen K. Bannon, former chief strategist to President Trump, and today I want to urge you to diversify your IRA or 401k into a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Precious metals have 5,000 years of history in preserving wealth, making them one of the best places for your retirement savings. To find out more, get a free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold Group by texting the word HEDGE to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. So text HEDGE to the number 989898. That's HEDGE to 989898 to get your free info kit. There's no obligation or purchase required.
You know, everyone goes to bed, but not everyone goes to sleep. Like many, I have a fairly demanding schedule, right? It's important I get a great night's sleep. I want to be sharp and at my very best. Sleep is something that I used to struggle with. I had tried a number of products to help, but I began searching for a natural solution. Well, I found it from some old friends, Relief Factor. I was at the Relief Factor headquarters, and I learned all about Sleep by Relief Factor. It has been a godsend for me. With Sleep by Relief Factor, I'm finally getting the best night's sleep of my life. I wake up refreshed. I'm never groggy. I feel the difference every single day. I urge you to check out Sleep by Relief Factor. Get your first bottle of sleep for only $19.95. You'll sleep better, feel better, and get more rest. Call 800-4-RELIEF to order now, or you can go to relieffactor.com/sleep. Call 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com/sleep. If it can help me, there's a good chance it'll help you. Invest in yourself. Invest in peace of mind. Relief Factor Sleep.
You want a killer Black Friday deal? Get a free Moto 5G phone when you sign up for Pure Talk's unlimited talk, unlimited text, and 15 gig data plan for just $35 a month. Just dial pound 250 and say keyword SAVE NOW to get this exclusive offer and to select the plan that's right for your family. Pure Talk gives you America's most dependable 5G network at half the price. Dial pound 250 and say keyword SAVE NOW to claim your free Moto 5G phone with qualifying plan.
With the holidays upon us, the increase in traveling, shopping, and connecting online also heightens the need to protect your identity and finances with LifeLock. Identity thieves see this time of year as an opportunity to drain your accounts, open new loans in your name, and damage your financial future. LifeLock detects and alerts you to the threats you might miss on your own. Don't let the busy holiday season catch you off guard. Save up to 25% off your first year with promo code CLAY. LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY.
It's 8:08. Let's check the roads in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Inbound Edens, 52 minutes. Lake Cook Road into the junction. The Kennedy right now is 90 minutes. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. On the Ike, we're looking at 65 minutes, 390 into the old post office. Stevenson, it's an hour from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Stevenson outbound right now jammed up out to I-355. That's a 35-minute commute. Dan Ryan, 49 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Sunny skies, a nice warm day today. Beautiful day to be outdoors. High 64. Clear tonight, low 45. Clouds and warm, breezy day tomorrow. The high at 65. Morning shower in spots on Friday. Otherwise, clouds and sun, high 48. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
43 at O'Hare. Your next news at 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Scott Tucker Solutions and his show Retirement Decoded. Sunday mornings at 8. Learn more at scotttuckersolutions.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So, Chinese Communist Party dictator Xi Jinping meeting with Mr. 10% today, and then on to that trade conference in San Francisco. The streets of San Francisco,
what is going on?
Lined with Chinese Communist Party flags
and banners, yes.
But I can't tell if that's just another day in San Francisco or if they're doing something special for Xi.
Well, they took the tents away and, people who defecated in the streets and picked up all the garbage for this big visit. Now they've been replaced with people waving happily Chinese flags.
Simone Gao is a journalist and host of Zooming In with Simone Gao, current affairs program on YouTube. She joins us now. Simone, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
Our friend of the show, one of our friends of the show, that would be Gordon Chang, has said America shouldn't even be participating in this. The President of the United States shouldn't even be participating in this because Xi is, and the Chinese Communist Party is not a legitimate regime. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I agree with Gordon because China's purpose is very clear. Xi Jinping, China's economy is in big trouble. It needs Western investment and technology. So every time China needs the Western support, it will change its attitude and say, we're friends and we're no harm. We can still go back to the past and why don't we work together and stuff. But this has repeated many times. And every time China is back on its foot again, it changed. So the U.S. should learn its lesson and should not let China have this opportunity and talk to hundreds of CEOs and try to, broaden this relationship, not just with the government, but with business as well. So it has, it will gain power over the U.S. government. So I think this is not a smart move.
Well, it needs Western investment. I mean, the reports are that, if you believe them, and that's, I guess, the question, that the Chinese economy grew at twice the rate of the U.S. economy this year.
Twice? Wow. I don't know what report is that, but I have never heard that. China's economy is in big, big trouble. Even their own numbers are very bad. So, the real estate has collapsed. Manufacturing export is collapsing. Local debt is mounting to the point that you can't even pay, the government workers. And youth unemployment is extremely high, and people refuse to buy, invest, and even have children. So China has no other ways to get back on its foot on its own. It badly and urgently needs Western investment and technology.
That's what I was going to ask you about, the youth unemployment rate. What do you think it's at, and what source are you believing?
Well, China said it's 10%, but nobody believes that. So, we don't have the actual numbers, but some estimate says it's as high as 40%.
And so What, if anything, should not if anything, what should the President Biden, what should he be saying to President Xi in your view? What, if anything, do you think is possible to extract from Xi?
I don't think he can extract much from Xi because Xi's main purpose is not Biden, it's those CEOs. So Xi wants the Americans to say we oppose Taiwan independence, which the Americans have said no. We're going to stick to the official stance, which is we do not support Taiwan independence. So I don't think Xi Jinping can get much from the Biden administration in that sense. But I think it just, you got to know its real intention is to engage and get investment and technology from America. So I think, U.S. is a democracy, so you cannot stop CEOs to meet with Xi. I guess that's the problem.
Well, should Biden, if you were advising Biden, even though you'd advise him not to go, but he's going, so here's what you should do. You should tell Xi, we're going to ban TikTok. Or we're gonna use the same version of we're gonna allow the same version of TikTok here that you use in China because we know there are two different versions. We're going to expand investment restrictions on American portfolio investments, for example. Tell him the things that we're going to do in response to what we know are bad faith efforts underway by your regime.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. He should have said those things to Xi Jinping.
And
so,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah. So Xi Jinping doesn't have a big, Xi Jinping needs this show to demonstrate to the people in China that I'm still in power. The Americans treat me with respect, and people welcome me. The Americans don't realize this, but this image is extremely important for Xi to sustain its authority position in China. And that's how he rules. If he can get a 1.3, now it's low before, it's now 1.3 billion people. But if he can get the Chinese people to support him, he doesn't care about the foreign powers. If I get my housing order, I don't care if if America doesn't like me. So I think.
Well, is there any reason to believe that Xi's grip on power is loosening?
Yeah, it is. There are a few signs. First of all, if you look at China's economy, before the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party's policy arsenals have been very, very effective. So, for example, the real estate, if the government issue certain policies, and if the government doesn't want the market to collapse, it has that power. Issues per certain policies, and people buy that. We're gonna. The government is going to stimulate the market. Now it's a good time to invest. But now those policy arsenals are stopping to be effective. So no matter how much money the Chinese government put in the system, people stopped buying, investing, and even have children. So that's one big sign that the Chinese Communist Party is losing power. It just the policy arsenals are ineffective. Another way is I think the extreme overhaul of military top leaders and all those just very shaky overhauls. I think kind of demonstrate that Xi Jinping's power is not as stable as people perceive. Because for dictators, only they're in trouble. They cannot control the situation. They run on the killing spree. People have been suspecting, how the former Chinese premier Li Keqiang died, since he was only 60, 65, 68 years old. So that's very rare for a Chinese leader to die at that young age. So people are suspecting these things. And I tend to agree that Xi Jinping's power has weakened since he gained the third term from last year, like the end of last year. Otherwise, he wouldn't be acting so crazy.
Is there anticipation among the populace that of war with the United States? Is there a belief that Xi will move on Taiwan? What's your sense of both the regime's posture as well as the people's understanding of its posture?
Well, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, has always demonstrating this position that we're going to attack Taiwan very soon. Anytime we can attack Taiwan. But the thing is, I think Xi Jinping will try everything he can to achieve this so-called unification with Taiwan without fighting. So using the so-called peaceful means to make Taiwan capitulate. So that's his number one priority.
Well, what would that look? How is he going to use peaceful means to get Taiwan to voluntarily give up its independence?
Well, he can say, you cannot depend on America. America would not protect you, but if we have to unify with you, but America will not protect you. So if that happens, Taiwan will be in war with China, which is disastrous for the Taiwanese people. And it's, Taiwanese public opinion now is very much leaning towards avoiding war, which is utilized by the CCP heavily. So it's just put up this propaganda of, unless you capitulate, you unite with us, you're going to be big trouble. And, you're going to be war, and the U.S. will not protect you. And it also will try to help a pro-CCP party to win the next Taiwan presidential election. In that way, that party might be saying, it's good if we unite with China.
Simone Gao is a journalist and host of Zooming In with Simone Gao, a current affairs program on YouTube. Simone, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
You want a killer Black Friday deal? How about a free Moto G 5G phone from Pure Talk? No gimmicks, no trade-in necessary. Just sign up for Pure Talk's unlimited talk, unlimited text, and 15 gig data plan for just $35 a month. And get the Moto G 5G phone for free. But you need to move fast. These phones may be gone by the end of the month. If your current phone is on life support, upgrade for free with Pure Talk. Enjoy 2-day battery life, a quad pixel camera, and a whole lot more. Just dial pound 250 and say the keywords Dennis Prager to speak with Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team. They make switching so easy, and it will make sure you get your new phone. Remember, Pure Talk gives you America's most dependable 5G network at half the price. Dial pound 250 and say the keyword Dennis Prager to claim your free Moto G 5G phone with qualifying plan from Pure Talk.
Guys, a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and go to a provider you can trust. I trust my friends at Low T Center. It's where I get my levels checked half for the past 8 years. At Low T Center, they make it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with their on-site lab, you get your results back in about 25 minutes. If you've been feeling tired, grumpy, notice weight gain, and loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone levels. Low T Center is not your typical doctor's office where you have a long wait. It's concierge medicine exclusively for men. They have affordable and convenient options for treatment, including physician-monitored, self-inject treatments that ship directly to you each month. There's no need to drive to their center for weekly visits. And right now, low T is only $25 to get your T level tested with results back in about 25 minutes. So what are you waiting for? Get to it. Log on now to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Tell them Dan Prof sent you when you do. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Building owners, property managers, and chief engineers. This one's for you.
Hello, this is Bruce Diedrich with Waukegan Roofing, your professional roofer. Everything starts on top. Your investment, your building, and everything in it is protected by your roof. It needs to be in good shape. That's where we can help. If it needs to be repaired or replaced, or you think it might, call us. Let's find out. Here's the number.
847-623-1625.
At Waukegan Roofing, our employees are union-trained roofing professionals with OSHA safety training certifications and have thorough knowledge and expertise regarding the various roofing systems we sell, maintain, and install. We know commercial roofing systems because that's all we do. Over 110 years of doing commercial roofs. Waukegan Roofing has the slogan,
Roofs you can rely on.
Because you can. Here's the number to call.
847-623-1625.
And get the info at waukeganroofing.com. waukeganroofing.com.
All right, I can't wait to take it. 5 minutes away from taking Balance of Nature. Why do I love it? Well, it gives me energy. And it makes me feel like I'm doing something good for my body, which I am. 31 whole fruits and vegetables in those bad boys in those capsules. What they do is they take the fruits and the vegetables and they powder them after an advanced vacuum cold process, which seals in the maximum nutrient content. Real science, real fruit, real nutrition. So get the nutrition your body needs. Get the nutrition your body craves. Order your bottles of Balance of Nature today. Don't wait any longer. How you can do it is you can go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to use discount code Chicago.
Wouldn't it feel great to give gifts with an impact? That's Caring creates gift boxes that also give back to food insecure children with every purchase. That's right. Order great gifts and you'll benefit a great cause. From sweets and snacks to apparel and wine and cheese, That's Caring has a gift for anyone in your life. Want to impress a new client? Send a loved one a just because gift? Order a homemade cookie cube gift box, chocolate indulgence gift box, trail mix. There's even dietary friendly options. View all their unique and delicious gifts at thatscaring.com. Every gift basket is handcrafted with 3 essential rules. It must taste great, it must look amazing, and it must give back. Since 2013, That's Caring has been providing essential weekend bags for food insecure children. So help the cause and give a That's Caring gift basket to someone special. Go to thatscaring.com. Visit now, thatscaring.com.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Be prepared for embarrassment. In the run-up to President Biden's visit with Chinese leader Xi Jinping in San Francisco this week, the Chinese foreign minister warned that the road to the meeting wouldn't be smooth sailing. In other words, China doesn't feel obligated to play nicely. And why would it? The Biden administration has become China's supplicant. One of its stated objectives for the meeting is to get China's help in dealing with Iran. Any sensible person realizes that's hopelessly naive. China's goal is to replace America as world leader. Why would anyone think it has the slightest incentive to help the United States? Worse, going hat in hand to the Chinese only creates an image of weakness. Let's hope this foolish gambit doesn't tempt Xi to miscalculate on Taiwan, just as Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan preceded Putin's invasion of Ukraine. With dictators like Xi and Putin, weakness always begets aggression.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, sort of taking a page out of Mark Wayne Mullen's book. This conversation between Dana White, the founder of UFC, and this podcaster Theo Vaughn, who's apparently quite popular.
Okay.
Sort of comedian, actor of sorts, I guess. Anyway, it's about, more people needing to stand up and tell people to go make love to themselves when they try to impose their will.
Okay.
It's going to be hard to discern some of this because there's so much bleeping required, but let's give it an effort.
When you do a sponsorship deal with somebody, you have to look deep
into who they are and, who's running the company, who's making the decisions, and are you aligned?
Yeah. I love that, man. Yeah, because we had Robert Kennedy Jr. on, and we had a couple companies call after that and say, just stuff about him. We're not advertising on this episode. My advertiser's like, you guys need to take the episode down, And we ended up.
And what's wrong with him?
Nothing.
Guy's fucking brilliant.
And I've known
Guy's a smart
I've known him
guy.
for 7 years. Great guy.
Right.
I mean, a neat man.
Right. I've never met him.
Yeah.
I've only watched his stuff. And you got this whole Democrat, Republican, and all this crazy bull. He's a fucking Democrat.
Yeah.
Right?
But now they hate him just because he doesn't believe
He's
this.
a Democrat with common sense.
Right. Yeah.
Right? He's like an old school Democrat.
Yeah.
And smart guy, whatever. Let me tell you this. This is America. You can have whoever you want on your podcast. You can do whatever the you want to do. Imagine a sponsor that's sponsoring you, calling you and telling you that you can't have this guy. What sponsor did it? Who was it?
Let me think. And I'm not afraid to name him. I don't know if I remember. I really don't.
All right. I don't know if I believe you, but okay.
That's fair. But I really don't know if I remember.
Imagine, and this happened to me too. This happened to me. I posted a video for Trump, right, on my personal social media. And one of our big sponsors called and said, take that down. Oh, my gosh. You know what I said? Go yourself.
Yeah.
You vote for whoever you want to vote for, and I'll vote for whoever I want to vote for. That's how this works. I don't even care who you're voting for. It's none of my business. Well, you.
Yeah.
Don't ever call me and tell me who to vote for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel in fear these days, A lot of people feel in fear that if they don't vote for certain people, they're going to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Hollywood, for example.
Think about how crazy that is.
It sounds insane. It sounds just like...
Well, it'll keep happening unless more people stand up for themselves and give them the you response.
Give me the old FU response. Setting aside Dana White and Theo Vaughn's understanding of RFK and where he falls on the political spectrum and how sensible his views are on many matters. I appreciate the sentiment. I don't really understand why some of these podcasts are popular. It's not that interesting, but
it was interesting enough to play on the show.
Well, it's a thousand flowers bloom. Some people would rather hear from Dana White than G.K. Chesterton, I suppose. Anyway, Theo Vaughn remembered who the sponsor was.
Okay, good.
That's how this went.
Peloton was we just got an update.
It was Peloton?
Was the people who wanted an ad out. Peloton. And meanwhile, you have RFK.
So Peloton.
Yeah.
What do they sell? Bikes, the stationary bikes?
Yeah, dude.
Peloton sells stationary bikes, and they got a problem with Robert Kennedy.
Yeah.
You Peloton. Who the are they?
Yeah, and you can kind of get a sense of where that's going, and he's pulling all the Pelotons out of the gyms at UFC or something.
That's surprising because I had a Peloton, and you do it home. And during this whole, George Floyd riots, they said, we really hope that you're in a safe space right now. And then I canceled my membership and sold the bike. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, and you know why they did it, when they did it. I don't even know this, but I'm sure this was the case when RFK Jr. was wrongly accused of being anti-Semitic.
Right.
That's what these weak-kneed companies. So,
Peloton's failing, just like SoulCycle with their vaccine mandates to work out. They're failing. Keep it coming. Show your wokeness.
I do appreciate the sentiment and you're crossing a line here. Back off, or words to that effect from Dana White. All right, at 8:38, baby Indy Gregory passes at the hands of the British government. 8:38.
But now let's head into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
8:33. Did you feel it? A little bit of an earthquake this morning, just south of LaSalle, Peru, in the town of Granville, a 3-point magnitude shaker. Meantime, President Biden is in a high-profile meeting in San Francisco today with the Chinese president. Biden and President Xi Jinping will participate in the APEC summit. The House has passed a stopgap bill preventing a government shutdown. Speaker Mike Johnson.
We just got to get the job done. We'll do it day by day.
House on Tuesday voting in favor of a GOP plan funding some departments until mid-January, the rest through early February at current spending. 6 are dead, 18 more hurt after a crash involving a charter bus carrying high school students. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine.
Our hearts go out, and our prayers to all the families, all those who were on the bus, everyone who was involved in the accident.
The bus was rear-ended by a semi just east of Columbus, Ohio. Israel says its military is attacking Hamas inside Gaza's main hospital. Authorities in McHenry County are asking residents of Johnsburg to shelter in place. This morning, McHenry County Sheriff's Office says there was a heavy police presence near Hamlin Drive and Fillmore Road after shots were fired. And Chicago aldermen are expected to vote today on Mayor Brandon Johnson's first budget. The proposed $16.6 billion spending plan sets aside $150 million for illegal migrants, some of whom may be seeking asylum. Chicago sports, Fighting Illini falter down the stretch in a 71-64 loss to number 5 Marquette in Champaign. Wildcats winners over Western Michigan on the hardwood, 63-59. DePaul winner over South Dakota. UIC beat Loyola. Professionally, the Bulls back at it when they host Orlando tonight. The news, a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency. Go to surroundchicago.com today. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka gives a history lesson.
The Arabs were offered a solution in 1947, a two-state solution. They rejected it. Israel re-established their nation, and they were instantly attacked by the Arab nations of the region. And in fact, they pulled out of Gaza until Hamas took over.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm Carolyn. I have been in private practice of physician's physical therapy for 35 years.
And you're going to come in, but breathe. Yep, perfect.
I open up at 4 a.m. and I'll go on till 10 a.m. and it's day after day. And as you can see by the equipment here, we are intensely active. People watch, they observe, and people say, Carolyn, what's your secret? And I say it's from proper diet, proper exercise, and of course, through Balance of Nature. I'm 60, but since taking Balance of Nature, I
want to tell you that Roland's Jewelers is the perfect place for that magical holiday gift for someone you love. I'm always amazed by their 5-star Google reviews. I love that they're family-owned. Hey, getting engaged? Well, Roland's Jewelers has a large selection of both mined and lab-grown diamonds at great prices. Choose from beautifully crafted engagement rings from designer Simon G. or Italian designer Roberto Coin, offering stunning diamond pendants and earrings. How about a Tag Heuer watch with cutting-edge technology? Listen, I've been a customer of Roland's Jewelers for a long time. You should too. They're so impressive. Their staff is expertly trained. I encourage you to visit Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville or visit RolandsJewelers.com. That's ROLLANDS, RolandsJewelers.com. Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust this holiday, just like I do.
It's 8:38. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of Blindster.com. Blindster blinds are custom made for your windows and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself. Save big at Blindster.com. Eden's 42 in from Lake Cook Road to the junction. The Kennedy at a solid 90 minutes. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. The Ike right now at an hour 15. From 390 into the old post office. Stevenson, you're inbound and down and then stopped right at Harlem Avenue. All the way to Cicero, brake lights. 74 from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Bishop Ford and I-57 both very slow into the Ryan merge. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, northbounders, you're delayed from the Stevenson all the way up to Monroe. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Sunshine and warm today, a high of 64, clear and 45 overnight. 43 right now at O'Hare, 45 at Midway, 46 Lakefront. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Remember the case of Charlie Gard out of the UK from a few years back? Charlie Gard was a toddler who had a rare condition, and the National Health Service in the UK decided that treatment was no longer an option, that the best course of action in terms of Charlie Gard's quality of life was to end his life.
Right, I remember that. It was a horrible case.
The parents wanted to leave, wanted to take Charlie, wanted to take advantage of experimental techniques in places like the United States. Nope. Couldn't get their son out to go to another doctor. So he died at the hands of the British government.
Barbaric.
We have another case, 8-month-old Indy Gregory. 8-month-old Indy Gregory died this week after her life support was withdrawn. She had a mitochondrial disease. The doctors, the government-run health service in Britain, said her life support should be removed to allow her to die at a hospital or in hospice. But her parents, Dean and Claire, continued to fight for her to remain on life support, hoping that, again, experimental treatments may extend her life. The Italian government, Prime Minister Meloni, solicited permission for her to be treated at a children's hospital in Rome. Italian officials even granted citizenship to the baby amid the legal battle over her health care. But British doctors in the government-run health service said that the child was not aware of her surroundings and was suffering, and she should be allowed to die peacefully. And the challenges brought by her parents and supported by, well, the Italian government, among others, rejected by British judges. Dean Gregory said this on the occasion of his daughter's death. Indy's life ended at 1:45 a.m. Claire and I are angry, heartbroken, and ashamed. The NHS, National Health Service, and the courts not only took away her chance to live a longer life, but they also took away Indy's dignity to pass away in the family home where she belonged. They did succeed in taking Indy's body and dignity, but they can never take her soul. They tried to get rid of Indy without anybody knowing, but we made sure she would be remembered forever. I knew she was special from the day she was born. Claire held her for her final breaths. What do you think? Because the quality of life ethic that is reflected in how the British government makes these life and death decisions is very much afoot in the United States. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DH or turnkey.pro text line. Proponents of government-run healthcare. Oh, big insurance companies deciding who should live and who should die. Well, I'm not a fan of big insurance companies as a general rule because they operate like public utilities these days, in part because of government regulation, not in spite of it. And so the protection, the consolidation of industry, which is what big government wants. Remember, big government hates small business. They love big business. They love the rent seekers. They love to collaborate. They don't like pesky small businesses that compete, move around, aren't rent-seeking. But who makes those decisions? Well, I mean, one of the answers, of course, is parents, and that's not the case in the UK. And speaking of what's afoot in the United States, parental authority, feel like that's being undermined in the United States? Not so far away, is it? Not just because we have so many quote-unquote death with dignity laws, dozen states, euthanasia, but also because of the laws passed in places like California that would strip parents of their children if, for example, they don't go along with a pre-adolescent who, say, is a girl and decided that she's a boy. And if you're not affirming, then you're not retaining custody. That's the way California would have it. Wesley Smith has been on the show many times. He is a public intellectual and bioethicist at the Discovery Institute. Writes a lot about this. He gave this interview 6 years ago after Charlie Gard had been killed by the British government. He wrote, "What's unusual in this case is that Charlie's parents are not being allowed to transfer his care to other doctors in a different hospital or to take the child home, just like the Gregorys were not able to. It's very disturbing these parents are being deprived of fundamental rights. I understand that in the UK the law is different. My understanding is that the best interests of the child are supposed to come first in every circumstance, particularly in the medical context. That gives doctors more power than our laws here in the United States. But when you have this kind of dispute about what's in the best interest of the baby, which is a subjective question, absent of finding that the parents are unsuited to make decisions, it seems to me they should have the right to make this kind of decision about their own child. As the people most intimately involved with Charlie Gard and as his parents, they should have the authority over the child, not the hospital and not the court. Well, that's not the law in the UK, clearly, and increasingly that is being challenged in the United States. The quality of life ethic, like the death with dignity, quality of life, death with dignity, these are watch phrases. More from Wesley Smith. The quality of life ethic, which is operative in the UK, and again, increasingly, but not to the same extent here, the quality of life ethic turns medicine on its head because the quintessential purpose of medicine has been to keep people alive. Oh, right. I remember. When that's what they want. Under the bioethics view, that may not be true. Indeed, in this case, the Gard case, life itself is being declared a harm to Charlie because he's so ill. This is why we're beginning to see more cases involving injustices such as this. Well, welcome to the Indy Gregory case.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You can also reach us on our text line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Who decides? That's the big question here. Frank in Tinley Park.
Yes, everybody's always disparaging President Trump. Didn't he pass the right to try law where if you're on your last legs, you get to try any experimental medicine?
Yes, the right to try was signed by Trump. That's right. Thanks for the call, Frank.
Text message, Dan and Amy, sounds like socialism to me. The incompetent doctors covered up by denying second opinions, killing the patients, and hiding behind the government.
Nick, Northwest Side.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, people. A few years ago in our country here, there's a child born to, I believe it was a Hispanic couple. And the child had some kind of a serious problem that the medical people involved with it, and there was several extras that came in just to make sure, but it was determined that there's medically hopeless to do anything. So the parents demanded that they try something, do something, which is understandable, but it dragged on for 2 weeks. This child, of course, we don't know of suffering, probably not because it was under medication probably, but I don't like to talk about costs, or of course a person's life is not worth all the money in the world. Spend $500 trillion, and of course that's going to be okay, but no, it's not okay. There's a point at which a decision has to be made, and it was made here by the doctors, but the parents demanded, and I think it's because of their minority status that the people went along with it. But And sometimes parents themselves are educated or just experienced in a certain way. They say, no, the child is not well, and if it's hopeless, let's let it come to an end and let's not drag it on. Unless they have a lot of money of their own money.
Whose call? It's okay. Whose call should it be? Very, very simple question.
It should be the medical authorities' call,
Really?
first of all, to give the opinion.
Really?
To give the opinion.
Well, I mean,
They can give
I'm
an
not,
opinion,
yeah,
but I mean, I think it's ultimately the parent's decision.
Yeah, right. That whose call should it be? I understand opinions.
Well, the child cannot make the call because the child will
Right.
be.
So who's
even if
next?
the child is old enough to speak,
So
but in this
who's
case
next?
it was a baby. Then it's the parents.
Thank you.
You get the opinion, but you always want a second, sometimes a third opinion, and it's the parent's decision.
Well, again, why would you deny the parents the ability to take, in this case, the Indy Gregory case, the ability to take their child to Rome and
Do some experimental.
the experimental treatment that was being offered by doctors in Rome and apparently supported by the Italian government? Why? Why? I'll tell you why. Because the system is more important than your kid.
There you go.
It's like you see this over and over again. Don't undermine the system. The system is more important than your kid. You see it in CPS when it comes to education. Don't tell me about this failing school or this lack of opportunity, this school that produces kids that can't read and write. We got to protect the system. The system is first and foremost. So we're not going to let some children's hospital in Rome show us up in the UK. Undermines the system. We're not going to let parents decide because it's our decision, the government doctors. And if we do, if we do let the parents decide, it undermines the system. Robert, Villa Park.
Yeah, Dan, the slave master gets to decide who lives and dies.
Yeah, right.
As far as I could tell. It sounds a lot like that to me.
Thanks for the call, Robert. Mary Kay, Western Springs.
Hi, good morning, you guys. Sorry I missed you on Saturday. I wish I could have been there. But Jeannie Ives has that petition going around to get a question put on the ballot about parents, having legal consent for any pharmaceutical. Yeah, okay. So I'm out in the neighborhoods these days trying to get those petitions signed, and that's what's important. The parents decide. And what you just said, Dan, just hit home with me. The system is more important than the family and the parents, and that's the whole problem in a nutshell. So people out there, if any of you know me, and you can message me somehow, I'll get that petition to you to sign. And if you want to get on board with me, and we're trying to get 1,000 signatures.
How's the reception been so far?
Oh, it's great because it's just getting the question on the ballot. That's all you have to say to somebody, is we want the question on the ballot. It's not the decision yet. It's just a question on the ballot. So people on the right and the left are willing to do that, if they're being sensible. Most of them are, We have some good people living around here, people who are sensible. They just don't get involved enough or talk enough about, our values on the right side, And I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and she said, she's an election judge, and she's there all the time watching these people behave the way they do on the left. And she said to me, I don't want to get involved. And I said, yep, typical Republican conservative response. I said, that's what we're trying to change.
Thanks for the call, Mary Kay. ParentsMatter.org.
Real quick, it's amazing, Dan and Amy, that people trust the government with life and death decisions.
They're looking out for you, right?
Yeah.
Carol and Moments.
Hi, I was wondering what happened to fee-for-service. I mean, I can see where insurance companies have to set limits on what they will cover, and they should put that out front in black and white, and then procedures that are not covered but are available fee-for-service.
Well, okay, fine, Carol, but it's single payer in the UK, so they couldn't even get their kid back to,
right?
To make a decision, right? That's the whole point. You don't get to have your child back because we're afraid you may run off to Rome with her. Our call. Kevin, Austin, Texas.
Yeah, a couple things I want to say. First off, government will take away your decision unless it's to abort your baby or kill yourself. And then the other thing I want to mention is government works for those people that show up. Not enough conservatives are going to show up in Illinois. And I know it's already here. I'm down in Texas, but I'm in a 50 precinct myself, and it's starting to move blue. The blue is putting a lot of money in here to try to flip Texas. And I'm afraid it's going to happen in Texas, even though I ran away from it. So I want to encourage people in Illinois to get involved. Conservatives need to get involved. Government works for those people that show up.
Thanks, Kevin.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
America is at a tipping point. Dennis Prager here to tell you about a new movie you should see. Dinesh D'Souza's movie, Police State, exposes the government's relentless persecution of the conservative movement. The America we know and love is becoming more and more like a police state every day. The FBI has turned its eyes away from the real dangers in the world to target what they call domestic terrorists, with a totalitarian agenda that's treating conservative Americans like criminals. They're targeting their political opponents, using mass surveillance and censorship, indoctrinating our children, and threatening people who speak their minds and stand up for freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and God-given American liberties. Directed by Dinesh D'Souza, Debbie D'Souza, and Bruce Schooley, Police State sounds the alarm. You have to see this movie, Police State. Buy it or stream it now at policestatefilm.net. That's policestatefilm.net.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm Carolyn. I've been in private practice of physician's physical therapy for 35 years.
And you're going to come in, but breathe. Yep, perfect.
I open up at 4 a.m. and I'll go on till 10 a.m. and it's day after day. And as you can see by the equipment here, we are intensely active. People watch, they observe, and people say, Carolyn, what's your secret? And I say it's from proper diet, proper exercise, and of course, through Balance of Nature. I'm 60, but since taking Balance of Nature, I feel the energy level of 27. I've been taking Balance of Nature for several years, and I love it. I endorse it, I believe in it, and I would recommend it.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. Be prepared for embarrassment. In the run-up to President Biden's visit with Chinese leader Xi Jinping in San Francisco this week, the Chinese foreign minister warned that the road to the meeting wouldn't be smooth sailing. In other words, China doesn't feel obligated to play nicely. And why would it? The Biden administration has become China's supplicant. One of its stated objectives for the meeting is to get China's help in dealing with Iran. Any sensible person realizes that's hopelessly naive. China's goal is to replace America as world leader. Why would anyone think it has the slightest incentive to help the United States? Worse, going hat in hand to the Chinese only creates an image of weakness. Let's hope this foolish gambit doesn't tempt Xi to miscalculate on Taiwan, just as Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan preceded Putin's invasion of Ukraine. With dictators like Xi and Putin, weakness always begets aggression.
You're smart, you're busy, and don't have time to waste on the mainstream media cycle. Salem News Channel breaks that cycle. Topics that matter from hosts worth watching. Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Open debate and free speech you won't find anywhere else. Salem News Channel, not like the other guys. Watch anytime on any screen, free 24/7. Find everything you need to know at snc.tv. That's snc.tv. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, Dan, any last words of wisdom for the peeps?
I've run out of words.
You're tapped out. All right. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy, our executive producer. We are back here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day. Now let's head into that newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
City Council expected to vote on Mayor Johnson's first budget. A Beverly family is a victim a second time of a second vehicle theft this month. An Illinois lawmaker charged with DUI. Police are investigating a Mount Prospect shooting. Number 23 Illinois falls to number 5 Marquette on the hardwood, and the Bulls host the Magic. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
Trying to ease the tension. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Biden meets in person today with China's President Xi Jinping. They're in California for an Asia-Pacific summit.
The world's two most powerful men are meeting to bury the hatchet.
Being able to pick up a phone and talk to one another if there's a crisis. Being able to make sure our military still have contact with one another.
On the negotiating table, a deal to keep AI out of nuclear weapons and drones, according to the South China Morning Post. Fentanyl also on the to-do list as the U.S. seeks a Chinese crackdown on chemical plants.
Fox's Peter Ducey in San Francisco. Israeli troops early this morning raided the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza, used, they say, as a base for Hamas terrorist military operations. Fox's Trey Yingst in southern Israel.
Late last night, I received a text message from a senior Hamas official inside Gaza, and he said in a few minutes, the hospital will be stormed. We then reached out to the Israeli military. They didn't initially have any information, but then ultimately released a statement saying they are indeed storming Al-Shifa Hospital, Gaza's largest medical facility, to go after Hamas militants.
Hamas denies using the hospital as a base. U.S. intelligence agrees with the Israeli assessment that it is. Besides patients, the hospital grounds has been used for refuge by Palestinian civilians. New Jersey's First Lady Tammy Murphy, Governor Phil Murphy's wife, is running for a U.S. Senate seat.
She has formally declared a run for the position, which is currently held by Robert Menendez, a fellow Democrat.
We have big, complicated issues, and solving them won't be easy. But you know what? Nothing worth doing ever is.
Last month, Menendez pleaded not guilty to a federal indictment accusing him of conspiring to act as a foreign agent for the Egyptian government, less than 4 weeks after he entered a plea on criminal charges related to his alleged abuse of office. If she wins, Murphy would become the first woman elected to the Senate from New Jersey.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers in New York. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 88 points. America's listening to Fox News.
45 degrees in Chicago at 9:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities in McHenry County are asking residents of Johnsburg to remain sheltered in place this morning. McHenry County Sheriff's Office says there's a heavy police presence in the area of Hamlin Drive in Fillmore, where shots were fired much earlier this morning. Chicago aldermen are expected to vote today on Mayor Brandon Johnson's first budget. The proposed $16.6 billion spending plan sets aside $150 million for illegal migrants, some of whom may be seeking asylum. As the mayor welcomed new police recruits yesterday, Budget Insiders confirmed the spending plan doubles staffing for non-police 911 response teams.
Thank you all for answering the call to serve. This is a great day for you and for the city of Chicago. Our entire city is strengthened by every single one of you who has dedicated your life to this career.
But WirePoint's commentator Ted Dabrowski says the budget does nothing to solve Chicago's soaring crime problems or slumping morale and dropping numbers in the ranks of Chicago police.
Until you get the police able to do policing freely and with confidence, I think we're going to have a big problem, especially with the continued lack of support that they've seen from Chicago leaders and others.
Among new costs in Mayor Johnson's budget are a pension fix, estimated to cost more than $60 million, and a new office dedicated to helping people returning from jail or prison, and funding 50 new ward staffers, one for each alderman. The news, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands like Proft University. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature.